And we say good morning to you. Welcome aboard. We're live again at Champion Chevrolet in the Bristol Highway Motor Mile, Johnson City. It's the Tom Taylor Sports Show, show number 584. Getting ready to unfold on this rainy Thursday, of course. And we're supposed to be getting rain, and we've not been disappointed as Harvey has arrived. And so we have lots of rain in the offing here. And so we're talking some considerable amount of rain coming this way, and you can see back on the horizon here that it's, as I used to say back home, it's going to set in on us. So it's here, and it's supposed to be here, and so we just kind of batten down the hatches, but nothing of what they're going through down in Houston, Texas, and Louisiana. But rain is coming our way, and a lot of it, as a matter of fact. But we're here at Champion Chevrolet, the Bristol Motor Mile, Johnson City, the #1 Chevy dealer in the state. Nobody sells more Chevrolets in this great state of Tennessee than Champion Chevrolet. Again, from Memphis to Mountain City to Memphis, we be the Daddy Rabbits. And, of course, co-owner Andy Dietrich's going to be here to tell us all about it coming up here in just a little while. Jim Klein will join us. Jim Klein is getting ready to give you an opportunity to send things to Houston, Texas through his office at Farmers Insurance. He's going to talk all about that. He's going to join us on the phone here in a few minutes. How you can roll up your sleeves and open up your billfold and make some purchases and bring to his office here in East Tennessee and Kingsport. And that way, that'll be turned right around and right on down to Houston, and we'll talk about that coming up here in a little while. Carmichael joins us. Lots going on in the world of sports. Also, Dave Angie will join us. Angie, of course, in the News and Neighbor, and we'll get ready for our second installment tonight of the Champion Chevrolet. Looking forward to it, I can tell you that, the Champion Chevrolet show. And so, where is it? It's right there tonight. The Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show airing tonight at 6 o'clock right here in the showroom of Champion Chevrolet. We had all kinds of things to talk about tonight, too. It's college football's opening weekend, and, man, what a way to get it cranked up. The Alabama Crimson Tide and the Florida State Seminoles 1-3. We had the story earlier in the week, and we'll talk about it again. Nick Saban 11-0 in all-time and opening games in Alabama when they are #1 playing another opponent that's ranked. They are 5-0. So the history books would say favoring the Alabama Crimson Tide coming up this weekend. The Chick-fil-A Bowl again. Chick-fil-A kickoff bowl, I should say, or kickoff game in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. We'll talk about that. Carmichael will be also talking about some of the other games. And again, Dave Angie joins us, as we said, and we'll be ready to go for the show tonight. We got Doug Fritz. We're ready to go to preview some of the high school football games tonight. Angie's going to preview the Big East Conference, none bigger, of course, than in Kingsport tomorrow night at J. Fred Johnson Stadium. Yet another installment of the storied rivalry between Dobbins Minute and the ranked Science Hill Hilltoppers. We'll talk about that with Dave Angie later in the show today, and certainly tonight on the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Preview Show from right here, the Champion Showroom. Also tonight, Chris McCall's making his debut. He's going to give us the Hokie preview against the West Virginia Mountaineers, the Black Diamond Trophy at stake at, on Sunday evening, again at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. So we'll hear from Chris giving us the Hokie preview. Also, Joe Vento is going to be calling and giving us a preview for the Buccaneer football game coming up on Saturday, the sold-out William B. Green Stadium, as it'll be the Buccaneers and Limestone College coming to town. And also Kevin Harmon will join us live by phone tonight between 6 and 8. And he, of course, will preview the Tennessee-Georgia Tech game. Another couple of deficiencies on the Tennessee team. One no longer on the team, or actually been suspended for a couple of games for violation of team rules. And then the big blow was Kirkland, who had meniscus surgery on his knee. To what extent he'll be, is he gone for the year or gone for an extended period of time? We don't know, but he's going to be gone for sure. So we'll talk more about that as well. We got NASCAR news, got Major League Baseball. Big Albert continues to go up the all-time home run list. We'll tell you about that. And so we've got lots and lots of sports to cover here on this Thursday, August the 31st, final day of the month. Hard to believe. And our countdown to Christmas, I want to say it's 115 days till Christmas. Can't wait. 115. Of course, we have a tree up at the old homestead, and we keep it up year-round, so it's Christmas every day at the old home place. But, again, 115 days till Christmas 2017. We always dedicate our show to the man who hung on the cross. We unashamedly do that. And so our verse to get us started today is out of the book of Isaiah. It says, I am the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. Those who hope in me will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary, and they will walk and they will not faint. How about that? And that's what gets us started again every show, unashamedly. We dedicate this show to the man, again, who hung on the cross for you and me and for all of us. Quick break. We'll come right back. I got to weigh in a little bit on Did I tell you, did I not tell you that on the show yesterday or even on Tuesday's show, when President Trump goes to Houston, he'll do something wrong. They don't do anything right. And sure enough, they're all over, not over him, they're all over his wife, the First Lady. It's just nuts. We're going to take a break, come right back. We'll take a look at that and NASCAR on our first segment next year, live from Champion Chevrolet, brought to you by Grip Energy Drink. You are watching and listening to the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Blue Lizard Australian sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Chevy Summer Drive to unbelievable savings at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. With a selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from, don't miss out on the Chevy Summer Drive sale. 17 Silverado Crew Cab 1LT, $11,000 off MSRP. 17 Equinox Traction Traverse, $5,000 off MSRP. 17 Cruisin' Sonic, 25% off MSRP. Shop us online 24/7 and don't forget our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game. Birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
I'm Tom Taylor, you are
Dave Angie.
And we got coming up, it's a really cool, every Thursday, it's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Get you ready for high school and college football every week. Every Thursday, you're going to be covering what for us?
Be looking at the Big East Conference.
Ooh, that would be Dobbinsville, Science, and all those great football teams in that conference. Doug Fritz will be giving you the rest of the high school football picture every week. Then we got colleges covered. Who are we going to be covering?
We got ETSU. We have Tennessee. We have Virginia Tech.
All those. Carmichael's will be along to give us the big 5 games every week because it is a 5-star football preview show. So hope you'll join us every Thursday right here in the showroom of Champion Chevrolet. Dave and I will be co-hosting the Champion Chevrolet 5-star football preview. And then on top of all that, we're going to have a picking panel where you're going to match us against you and you against us, and I can't wait because they don't have a chance. You're going to go up against us. We're going to pick against you for some really cool prizes, and they don't have a chance, do they?
No chance at all. It's going to be fun times.
Oh, yeah. Putting toe to what?
Toe to the leather, man.
Toe to the leather,
Ready
man.
to go.
Ready to go. Can't wait. Again, join us every Thursday right here. It's a Maiden Voyage Cool Show, co-hosted by Dave Ange and myself. It's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview coming up every Thursday right here from Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile in Johnson City. Can't wait to see you on the show. You know, to be tonight, coming up, we have the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show tonight. College football, high school football, right here and only here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. And, of course, the Facebook page and TomTaylorSports.com. We're live here at Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile, Johnson City. Let's take a look at NASCAR, see what's going on there. Getting ready to head off to Darlington with a throwback paint scheme weekend. A lot of the old paint schemes from some of the years gone past, the drivers will be on the cars this weekend. Pressure mounting for winless drivers to make the playoffs, and so only 2 races remain for winless drivers to get into the playoffs. That'll be this week, of course, and next week, next Saturday night in Richmond. Of the winless drivers, only Matt Kenseth has won at Darlington. Kenseth Jr. and Clint Boyer have all visited Victory Lane at Richmond, the host of the final regular season race. Joey Logano, who is currently out of the playoffs because of his April Richmond win, which was encumbered, also took the checker flag there in 2014. So Logano and Kenseth, the heat is on these guys. And so here's how it would go right now. If the playoff grid shakes out with Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Jimmy Johnson, Brad Keselowski, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Kevin Harvick, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Ryan Newman, Casey Kane, Austin Dillon, Chase Elliott, and let's see, Elliott's 69 points ahead of Clint Boyer on the cutoff line with 2 playoff points. Matt Kenseth and Jamie McMurray. These guys are in the hunt now. Everybody is in with the exception of Chase Elliott and Matt Kenseth and Jamie McMurray out of that list we gave you. So they got to win, and, of course, the heat's on to do that coming up this Sunday. Again, the Bojangles Southern 500 in Darlington, South Carolina. The track Too Tough to Tame, they call it. It's also known as the Black Widow. So Darlington should be a rockin' sock'em affair coming up this Sunday, and then we'll wrap things up again a week from Saturday evening on a Saturday night race in Richmond. Then after that, the playoff start of the chase, if you will, at Chicagoland Speedway. Truex attempts to defend Darlington win as he closes in the regular season title. Martin Truex Jr. already has a whopping 35 playoff points. That will be 15 more than the next best driver, Kyle Busch. So the number 78 Furniture Row racing driver can grab another 15 playoff points next weekend in Darlington, or this weekend, by clinching the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series regular season title. All Truex has to do is hold a 61-point lead over second place in the standings at the conclusion of the race. Have no clue what all that means, and I'm in the sport, so all I know is he's on top of the leaderboard right now, and he's in for the chase. And, of course, he's trying to wrap up the regular season title as well with 2 races to go to make that happen. Well, Darlington's its 12th straight different winner. Over the last decade, the moniker, of course, Darlington Raceway has lived up to it, Too Tough to Tame. The track has seen 11 different winners visit Victory Lane in its last 11 races. Last year, Truex, 2015, Carl Edwards, Kevin Harvick won there in 14, Matt Kenseth, 2013, Jimmy Johnson, 2012, Regan Smith, 2011, Denny Hamlin, 2010, Mark Martin won in Darlington in 2009, Kyle Busch, 08, Jeff Gordon, 07, and Greg Biffle, 2006. Interesting, Biffle and Gordon and Martin, there's 3. And Carl Edwards, 4 out of those drivers are not even in the sport now. Johnson, who has 3 victories at Darlington, the only active driver with multiple wins at Darlington Raceway. So anyway, it's up for grabs, and again, it'll be happening and getting after it, of course. And so some pre-race festivities down in Darlington on Sunday. Richard Petty and Bill Elliott serving as the official pace car drivers for the Bojangles Southern 500, which is really cool. A commemorative ticket that links the 87 Southern 500 champion Dale Sr. to the 2016 Bojangles Southern 500 winner Martin Truex Jr. Brett Michaels performing a pre-race concert before the Bojangles Southern 500. The legendary Oak Ridge Boys singing the national anthem on Sunday. And also appearances by the 2018 NASCAR Hall of Fame class. So it's going to be a busy weekend at Darlington Raceway coming up this coming, starting tomorrow. Of course, things starting to begin to move around down there today, but really picks up in earnest this weekend. Again, Martin Truex Jr., the defending champ of the race in the Cup Series. Again, you have Chase Elliott, the defending champ in the Xfinity Series, and then also you've got John Hunter Nemechek, the racing in Canada this weekend, the defending champ of the truck race from a year ago. It's the Chevrolet Silverado 250, as a matter of fact, at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in Bowmanville, Ontario this weekend for the Truck Series. The Bojangles Southern 500 in the Cup Series, and of course the Xfinity Series is the Sport Clips Haircuts VFW 200 coming up on Saturday at 3:30 in Darlington Raceway. And that's a look at NASCAR here. We'll have more for you tomorrow. We'll get into the Xfinity Series a bit tomorrow as we get ready to go racing in Darlington Raceway tomorrow and at Richmond International Raceway next Saturday night. And then the chase begins. And let's run down the chase. We'll give you the rest of the regular season just for kicks here. Here we go. The chase starts, and so there'll be the race September the 17th, Chicagoland, then they go to New Hampshire, then they go to Dover, then they go to Charlotte, they go to Talladega, Kansas, Martinsville, Texas Motor Speedway, Phoenix, and wrapping things up November the 19th in Homestead, Miami Speedway in Homestead, Florida. So it's going to be a neat racing opportunity for these drivers to get into the chase and go for all the gusto for the chase of the championship 2017. We're live at Champion Chevrolet. Andy Dietrich joins us coming up in about 15 minutes. Up next, we'll go to the phone and see how one of our great sponsors, Jim Klein, is helping out with the relief efforts in Houston and Hurricane Harvey, and how you can help as well right here in the Tri-Cities with Jim Klein Farmers Insurance. He's scheduled to join us next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here are the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance. We follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400, your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
We're back with the Tom Douglas Sports Show. See on the phone our buddy Jim Klein, on the screen rather, on the phone, our buddy Jim Klein from Farmers Insurance in Kingsport, Tennessee, that big old tall drink of water. So he's got big news. We're going to talk about insurance coming up here in a minute and Hurricane Harvey, but on a personal note, he's a happy camper. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing marvelous. Thank you, Tom. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood, even though it is raining a little bit outside.
Tell us the big news in the Klein household.
Well, I am a proud grandfather as of Monday. So, the very first one, we got Claire Elizabeth Underwood that has come to this world to melt my heart. And she has melted my heart. So we're very excited. So, it's great, too. I'm blessed. My daughter and her husband live here local, so we get to be a part of it and get to be involved and get to see Claire every day so far.
There you go. So what's the little one? What's Claire going to call you?
Claire's going to call me Pop. So Pop was there when she was born. Of course, they kind of woke Pop up, and it started about 1:30 a.m. on a Monday morning. It was late Sunday night, however you want to list it, and it was a long day. I got home about 10 p.m., so I'm still trying to recover from that sleep. And I'm like, God love their heart. I said, you got to take her home because I can't do this every day.
There you go. And so Mrs. Klein will be now called what? Claire's going to call her.
She's going to be Grams.
Grams,
so
and
Grams
Pop.
and Pop.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Congratulations to you and hubby and daughter and little Claire and everybody. It's all good. Nothing like them grandbabies, I can tell you that. So
it's a great day.
You got it. Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, one of our great sponsors, and I've had my insurance with him, I think, going on almost 20 years, my vehicle insurance, and we love Farmers Insurance. And this is one of the cool things about Jim Klein. He's always giving back to people. So you have started a collection for some folks who are definitely in harm's way and had a tough time, still are, the folks down at Hurricane Harvey. So we can contribute to the cleanup efforts by coming and dropping things off at your office. Tell me about it.
Yes, you can. So, whatever you want to donate for, personal hygiene, to water, to cleaning supplies, anything. There's Sandy has spoke to a gentleman taking a truckload down, so we are being a collection point for that. And then within probably the end of next week, we'll get that first load loaded up to head out to their way to help them out. Like I said, it's just such a horrible tragedy, and as you said, we do all want to help out, and we want to be part of the helping efforts. But, Farmers is a huge presence all over the United States, and so they're a big presence in Texas as well. We've already talked to some of our local adjusters that are going to get deployed to help resolve some of the issues down there and help these clients get back to where they belong and get back on their feet as soon as we can get some of this water to recede down and be able to get to things. But we are a collection point, so if you do have items that you want to send down, again, the water, cleaning supplies, things that can help all those families out, feel free. We're at 1309 East Center Street. Feel free to come by the office. Somebody's always here from 8 to 5:30 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5 on Fridays. If it needs to be after that, if you let me know, some of us are usually around here a little late. We have a garage out back that we can put items in if we get too full here in the office.
We're talking to Jim Klein again. Some of the things that Sandy said ask for, which is bottled water, powdered milk, pre-mixed ready-to-use baby formula, diapers, baby wipes, personal hygiene items, pet food. How about that? Don't forget our pets, baby bottles, and all this is until next Friday. And I was listening this morning. They are in need, and I knew they would be, of bleach. I mean, that's what really gets things started, starting to clean up and get rid of the mold and everything going on. I mean, saw this morning where there's fire ant hills now down there in the water, and they've some gators in the water and snakes, and this is inside people's homes, so it's unbelievable. So if we can give any of these or all of these, please consider doing that. Dropping them off again at Jim's office, as he said, at 1309 East Center Street in Kingsport, right up from the Renaissance Center, right there on the main drag on Center Street. You can't miss these signs, so please consider. I'm going to do it, and I hope you guys will do it as well, because, again, you think, well, one bag of pet food or one bag of baby wipes or some diapers, it's not very much. Well, you know, it'd be great if you could give a truckload full, but if everybody gave something, it's all going to add up and get down there to help these folks out, because, you know, we're going to move on here in another 2-3 days to another news story. But those folks, I know back up in West Virginia, it happened a year ago, and they're still cleaning up, still trying to put their lives back together.
It's years to recover.
Absolutely.
And of course, the more we can, as you said, give a little bit, and everybody gives a little bit, it accumulates to a whole lot, and just help them in those efforts to start getting their lives, you know, anywhere close to normal.
You got it. We're talking to Jim
Klein. What we call normal.
Exactly. Jim Klein Farmers Insurance. Hey, coming up on September the 15th, it is Customer Appreciation Day. Tell me what's going to be going on then.
So we're going to have some food and drinks and some door prizes, and we just want everybody to come by and visit us. We just want to thank them. We want to thank them for being customers, for being part of Jim Klein Farmers Insurance. You know, I'm working on my 24th year, so I've been blessed to continue to be here in Kingsport, serving our customers in Kingsport. And, you know, even if you're not a customer, come by and meet us. Get a hot dog. Pretty sure that's what we're having. So, you know, again, Sandy's got to help me out. She's my right arm and my left leg. So, but we're going to have, you know, hot dogs and chips and drinks, and we're going to give away door prizes. They're always getting together little items and little goodies, and I know one little just handout we've got to give away is the little coin change holders, but it's got UT schedule on the back, so that's a neat thing to have. Keep up with the football games going on. And again, we just want to say thank you for allowing us to be part of the community. Thank you for doing business with us, and please stop by and visit with us. That's September the 15th.
Co-owner Andy Dietrich joins us coming up here in just a few minutes from Champion Chevrolet. We're talking to our buddy Jim Klein. You see on the screen for Jim Klein Farmers Insurance. September coming up again starting tomorrow is Life Insurance Awareness Month. Tell me about that for Jim Klein Farmers Insurance.
Well, you know, it's a month that it's you know, across the United States, and it's to make everybody aware of that life insurance need. You know, we do talk about it, and it's people that don't always want to talk about it, but again, you know, what if you don't make it home? You know, how's your family going to survive? How they're going to live? I always say, you know, I'm not trying to be cold. I'm just trying to be reality. The mortgage payment still has to be made. The car payment still has to be made. The power bill still has to be paid. You know, if these things are not done, we don't maintain that, and we will not be in that house and in that lifestyle. And, you know, it usually takes 8 to 10 years of someone's income just to give an adjustment period to decide if we're going to sell the house and scale down, to trying to cut back on bills. Does someone want to go back to school to get some additional training to try to get a job to increase the income when they've lost the other one? So we just want to bring people aware of that. We want to talk to you about, you know, what goals and plans you have for your family. So we want to get the right death benefit. But then there's also tools that we can use that can save money at the same time. So we all hope we live. So as long as we do live, then we can get what I call return of premium. We accumulate the cash value in it. But we just want to bring people aware of it. We want to see what they have, work with what they have. That is great. Get what you have through there, but it's normally not enough, because if it's 2 or 3 years your income, you know, that's not enough. So you need to have some on your own, some on your own. Lots of times when you leave employers, take a new job or go to retire, that life coverage doesn't go with you, and there's always expenses at final expense. So we just want to discuss that with you and see what's the best plan to get you where you want to be.
Call to Jim Klein Farmers Insurance. So again, it's 247-5400. It's a phone call away. All he wants to do is get a chance to quote insurance. That's what he wants. And in closing, Sandy said, you be sure and ask him to let him wiggle off the hook. Sandy, of course, makes the place go. And so she said, you've achieved all 3 achievement clubs this year: President's Council, Toppers, and Championship. So congratulations. Tell me what that means for the person on the other end of the microphone, because that means you're getting it done, right?
Well, yes, and I thank you very much, and we greatly appreciate the recognition. So we are accomplishing goals with the company to provide the services for all of our customers. we're trying to, again, it's doing the right thing for everybody. It's getting the products in front of them. It's explaining what coverage they have and what coverage we would recommend. Because, I tell people all the time, I don't know if you have replacement, don't know what limits of liability you have, don't know your assets till we start talking. Do you need a personal $1 million umbrella policy? So, again, we just want the opportunity to sit down and show you what we would recommend. We can do those things. And so, making these clubs gives us insight with the company people. We get to meet all the executives. We get to be involved in product development. We get to be involved in, how we're going to distribute the products. We can do a lot of things over the phone and the internet, so people are busy, and that's what they prefer. I like face-to-face, but some people just don't have time, so that's fine. So we have come up with what we refer to as e-signature and e-policy. People can manage things online. On and on and on. It's just a great thing to be involved in and to help us develop our policies to offer to our customers by making these accomplishments and getting to go visit the executives on these nice trips. So yes, our championship reward is next month. So I get to go to Seattle, Washington, which I've never been before. So that's awesome as well.
It's all good. Again, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, 247-5400. Again, he's one and done. He's the big guy. He's the big old tall drink of water. Now we call him Pop Klein. So there you go. It's good stuff. I appreciate you very much. Great report, my friend. I'll talk to you soon, and we'll get those items over to you, all right?
All right. Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
You got it. That's our buddy Jim Klein Farmers Insurance. Appreciate him very much. Hey, we'll take a quick break. We'll come right back. He's here. Can't wait. He's on the picking panel. We're going to see what he thinks about the football games in the picking panel. He and Tim, we're going to let Tim kind of weigh into and pick. Yeah, look over here. Mr. Copenhaver is very animated off camera. Let me just say that. And we're going to do the picking panel coming up next. It'll be Andy's going to pick and Tim's going to pick, and we're going to put them in the hat because it is the date has been cut off. I got entries in for this week's picking panel, so we'll do that coming up next year. We're live again at Champion Chevrolet, the #1 Chevy dealer in the entire state of Tennessee, and my man Andy Dietrich, co-owner, next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at FCA.org.
It's Chevy Summer Drive to unbelievable savings at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. With a selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from, don't miss out on the Chevy Summer Drive sale. 17 Silverado Crew Cab 1LT, $11,000 off MSRP. 17 Equinox Traction Traverse, $5,000 off MSRP. 17 Cruisin' Sonic, 25% off MSRP. Shop us online 24/7 and don't forget our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back on the Tom Douglas Sports Show. No, I'm not him, but we're fixing to get him on the screen because we're going to get my man. He is spilling his oats about the picking panel. He is ready to make it happen. There he is, our buddy Andy Dietrich from Champion Chevrolet. Whoops, co-owner. There he is. Good afternoon, or actually good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Welcome back, as they say. When their TV show named Welcome Back Cotter, Welcome Back Andy. That's what we say, welcome back. So good.
Well, welcome you back from your week at the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yeah, that was fun.
Everywhere I went, I heard your voice. I was like, where's Tom?
That was a cool gig. That was a fun week.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Thank you. Thank you very much. How was the camping? Did it do good?
Camping with the weather was great.
Yeah. Tell me how things went. Did we have lots of snacks and cooking? You camped up on property for folks who missed the show a couple of weeks ago, so tell me how it went.
It went really good. We, let's see, the first night we cooked jambalaya from scratch. From scratch. And then the second night we cooked ribeyes, and it was awesome. We ate felt like kings up there.
Now, does that mean that Haley was up there cooking?
No, well, no. I had to batch it race weekend. You didn't know that story. Her sister went into labor in Knoxville and had a baby the Friday of race weekend.
Okay,
so I had to rough it without her.
Yeah. Did you have the kids up there too?
No, I didn't have the kids up there.
Moved them on, farmed them out a little bit. Yeah.
I had some of the Chevrolet guys up there, corporate guys, and some Hendrick guys, and we had a really fun weekend, just hanging out and going to races, and had some hot passes, and went to the drivers meeting, and got as close as you and I are to Dale Jr.
Oh, really?
He didn't pay any attention to me, though.
No.
But
did you see Danica?
Oh, yeah, she she was there. No. She didn't pay any attention to me either.
No,
she was asking me about you, but, you know.
What'd you tell her? Did you tell her good things?
I said, he is the voice of Bristol Motor Speedway.
It's Bristol, baby.
Yeah, it's Bristol, baby.
Yeah. Saw pictures of her on her week off yesterday on Facebook with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. She was in a bikini, and they'd been out.
You didn't look, did you?
No, I went on. I moved on. And then Kurt Busch's wife was, yes, she was in a bikini where apparently he and Kyle kind of mended fences. They were all vacationing together. And in the back shot of the beach last week, and they were off, there was pigs running around, little potbelly pigs. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that. There's an island that just has a bunch of pigs on it, and they swim in the ocean and stuff.
Yeah, that's where they were. They had these little potbelly pigs running around behind them.
Maybe it's just a thing where it's like wrestling, as I call it. You know, sometimes they put on a little bit of a show.
Gotcha.
Because I heard, I don't know if this is true, I heard money was put up, like if there was a fight, they'd be paid money. If there's a helmet thrown, there'd be X amount of dollars. You know, it just
stirred up a little bit.
I don't know. That's just a rumor I heard. I don't know. What do I know?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it may get a little tense this weekend down in Darlington because they're running out of chances of getting the chase. So we'll see how it all happens down there at the Bojangles Southern 500. Now, the picking panel, before we get into what's going on here, last day of the month, are you ready for the picking panel?
Oh, I've studied for the last 2 minutes.
All right.
And so I know. I know
Tim
what.
wants him involved in this too.
You know, we didn't allow him last year, but you know, I think he was jealous on how successful I was with my sports mentality.
You're a multiple winner.
I mean, it just multiple. I mean, multiples.
You won banana pudding one week. You won Skittles
bag of
one
Skittles. And I won something you couldn't deliver, so you had to give me something else in return. So I think I won like 3 times. I forgot what it was. A pie or something, and you gave me something else instead. I don't know.
I have no clue. I don't know. I've slept since then. So here we go. We're going to Andy's picks on the picking panel. All right. These are the ones you could have picked on, but it's closed now. But since these guys are the sponsor of the show, we're going to let Tim and Andy pick. So.
Oh, Tim wanted to come over and hear this. Tim.
Okay.
Tim. Okay. Let's get this puppy going.
Get this puppy rolling. Here we go. This is the picking panel. We're going to let Andy and Tim pick, even though the picks are already in. We're going to talk about that coming up here a little while with Anji. So here we go. Andy, who is bragging about being a multiple winner. Andy, UT or Georgia Tech?
Oh, that's easy. UT.
UT. Tim, Tennessee or... All right, there we go. TC and AD. All right. Big D. All right.
Big D.
Black Diamond Trophy game. West Virginia, Virginia Tech, neutral field. Andy.
I'm going to say Virginia Tech.
Taking the Hokies.
West Virginia.
Ooh.
There's already separation.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Alabama and Florida State coming up down in Atlanta. 1 versus 3. Crimson Tide or the Seminoles?
Alabama.
Taking Alabama. All right. Taking. Oh.
Wow.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
Next week. Yeah.
A lot of bragging. And
you get a little nervous. You're starting to do this, draw up a little bit.
No, I'm good.
All right. Okay. All right. Because TC's going exactly against you. Florida and Michigan, neutral site down in Arlington. They will play the game, by the way, despite the flood.
I'm going to say Michigan because he's going to say Florida.
All right, so you're taking Michigan, and you're taking, oh, I know what.
Go Gators, baby.
But don't even turn around and look, Dom. And then the last one, which is the trap pick of the week, Texas A&M at UCLA.
I'm going to say UCLA.
Taking UCLA, and Mr. Copenhaver, you will go with?
Texas A&M.
I knew that was going to If you say red, he says green. I love it. All right, high school picks. Tomorrow night, Science Hill, Dobbins Bennett.
Okay, but before I throw this out there, my kids will go to Science Hill, but I graduate Dobbins Bennett, so I'm going to have to say Dobbins Bennett because he's going to say Science Hill.
Oh my gosh! Gotta be kidding me.
But I'm really going to be rooting for Science Hill, but I'm got to go against what you're saying.
Sure, he says.
Well, I agreed with you on the first one.
So which one you going with? Dobbins Bennett or Science Hill?
I'll get shot. I need to stay with DB for this one.
All right.
When my kids are officially there, it's a different story.
There you go. All right. Next pick for tomorrow night at high school, big showdown in Carter County, Hampton at Happy Valley. Now, Rick used to do an animal pick. He'd say, Bulldogs and the Warriors. We'll take the Warriors. We'll kill a Bulldog.
Ottawa.
Hampton or Happy Valley?
Hampton.
Taking Hampton. All right. And Mr. Copenhaver, who would you like?
Happy Valley.
Oh, I love it. There you go. These guys are getting into this. Elizabethton at Sullivan East tomorrow night. Mr. Dietrich.
Elizabethton.
Taking Elizabethton.
He's going to say Elizabethton, too.
Yes, sir. Corey Russell.
All right. Mr. Copenhaver said Corey Russell. He's on screen. He's never done this.
I know.
On screen, so I had to get him over the football picks. All right. Tennessee High at Daniel Boone tomorrow night.
Tennessee High.
Tennessee High.
And he'll say Daniel Boone.
And you're going to take Mr. Copenhaver?
Boone's running back's hurt. I'm going for the upset, Tennessee High.
Oh, okay. And the last one, Sullivan North at Cosby.
I'm going to say Cosby.
Taking Cosby. Trap game. All right. Mr. Copenhaver?
I will go with North.
Going North. So, the picking for Mr. Copenhaver, he has taken Tennessee, West Virginia, Florida State, Florida, and Texas A&M. Mr. Dietrich has taken Tennessee, Virginia Tech, Alabama, Michigan, and UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The high school picks, Mr. Copenhaver has taken Science Hill, Happy Valley, Elizabethton, Tennessee High, and North. You have countered with Dobbins Bennett. They got some boos and hisses back here. Hampton. You took Elizabeth. You took Tennessee High. And you took Cosby.
Yep.
There you go. You good with that? Everything good?
I'm good.
All right. We'll see. We'll put those.
I'm for sure that I'm gonna win, so it doesn't matter.
And tonight, the Raiders are going to maul the Seattle Seahawks. You can put it down.
Raiders.
The Raiders are back.
When are they going to be the Las Vegas Raiders? Oh, I know that, but when are they moving?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
And how much is that stadium? Like over $1 billion?
Now you can get him going real quick. Right
Don't
there.
worry about that.
You can push that button right there because he's a bigger Raiders fan than I am.
Uh-oh.
Coach Austin can flat get up quick.
I know he can whoop me too.
Yeah, he is. He's a big boy. He's stout. So we're talking to Andy.
I have to watch out. I can run faster than he can, but if he gets a hold of me, I'm done for. Yeah.
Mr. Copenhagen. Yes.
He's been on a lot today. He's liking this. He may steal my job.
Oh yeah, he's all about this because he keeps coming over little by little. He keeps creeping over here. So.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. All right, Mr. Dietrich, we got. So you had a good time at the campground.
Everything went good. Yeah, everything went good.
Everything
went good, and the weather was great this time. April, it was a flood out, but I mean, I wanted to stick pontoons and ride it on my camper, but it wasn't so. I knew what it was. When I first got out there, I went down towards the golf cart compound where you get your credentials and pick up your golf carts that you rent while you're there. And there's camping all alongside the drag strip down through there. And there's a grass patch right up toward the end of the drag strip. And there's a boy walking a big black pig. And I about wrecked the school bus coming through there. Because they have the school buses that transport people,
right? And
I did a U-turn because I said, I got to see this. What is going on?
Yeah.
And I was like, I stopped and I asked the obvious question. I said, "Is that your pig?" And he said, "Yes, sir." And I said, "Is that your pet pig?" He said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Where are you and your pet pig staying?" He goes, "That camper right there."
In the camper.
And what's funny? Not funny, but those sites down there on the side of the drag strip. They're not hookup sites. They're non-hookups. So unless you have a generator, there's no air conditioning. And, they got water tanks in all these campers you got to fill up. There's no sewer.
Right.
So, but they have holding tanks. And so I'm trying to imagine this pig that was, there's a picture on, I think I put it on Twitter and my Facebook page, but I bet the thing was 100 to 150 pounds.
Sure. Inside the camper.
And I said, "Can you take my picture with this pig? Because people are not going to believe me. There's a pet pig in the campground." And I start handing him my camera, and I started getting. He goes, "Be careful. He snaps at people." I said, "Well, is he going to snap at me when we take this picture?" He said, "Well, I hope not."
For your sake.
For my sake. So I snapped down, and he sniffed my pants leg, and I put my hand on him. We took the picture.
I gotta see this.
Yeah.
See, when you get Andy involved, you just never know. So this guy had a pet pig in a non-air conditioned camper.
It could have been if they had a generator, but I still, trying to think.
Skeptical that there was AC. So was it just him? Was it? There it is. Let's get it up here a little closer, and there is the pig that he's talking about, the little pet pig, little pot-bellied pig, on a leash. So he's like Arnold Ziffel. He's in the camper.
Yeah.
Was this guy married, you think? Was he with other people?
No, he was a young boy that had it.
So, okay.
And there's my official picture with the pig, and that's right beside the drag strip right there in that patch of grass. And he didn't. Luckily, he didn't snap me.
Didn't snap, but he sniffed
and I hope they didn't eat it for breakfast. That's the only other thing I was a little worried about because I never saw it again after that. I don't know how you hide a pig in a campground.
By the expression on your face, you're rather proud that you.
Oh, I was because I about wrecked a school bus trying to do a U-turn to get around to this thing because, when you see things like this that you normally don't see every day, and it's a young kid.
Oh, there's the little. There's the kid.
He had his racing shirts on.
Let's bring him up here, and there's the little boy that had
walking his pig.
There you go. Let me get that up right there.
It was just like owning a dog.
So you stopped him and got a picture taking this little guy in flip-flops, and
I said, "Take my picture with your pig."
And you did.
And I did.
Very nice. So we don't know how the pig.
Yeah, no.
He went up in the camper, right? There was not like a little.
Oh, there's a picture of the homemade jambalaya. Oh, look at that.
Okay, so we're doing kind of a little scrapbooking here, a little memory making.
Jambalaya. It was all legit, good stuff.
Wow.
And I got one more to show you. We're just on a tear today. Luckily, we don't have anybody. Luckily, we don't have anybody standing in line to get in here to us.
Yeah, there's people coming.
And here's the ribeyes.
Whoa.
Look at all those ribeyes.
notice I didn't get the call. I don't know where I was or how come I didn't get
You stayed up there in your little press box the whole time with security guarding you, so they couldn't see the man that's the voice of the Bristol Motor Speedway.
There you go. There it is. Ribeyes looking good. By the way, hello to Kristen Schneider Rushing, watching the show today. Thank you, dear. Appreciate you. One of the folks that are dialed in. So Andy's with us. We've had show and tell. We've talked about pigs, and we've had a big week of the race. We've had jambalaya and cooking ribeyes. And now, was Tim involved in this any at all?
I invited him, and he turned me down.
Really? Based on what? Why would Tim?
I think that where he's got 4 kids and they're playing different sports, and it was hard. He did make it up for the Saturday race, but he was just on time for the race. Yeah. You know, I move in and I park my car out of the way, and I don't move out. I mean, I'm there.
You're there.
Throw away the keys. I'm there.
Now, the ride of a lifetime driver intros was some of those Champion Chevrolet trucks?
Yes, we got 6 or 7 of those trucks back. The Redline, their 2018 Silverado 1500 Redline double cabs. We do have them in stock. I did get 6 or 7 of the Tram trucks that were the diesel crew cab white and black trucks that were pulling the Trams and people with them around the Speedway the whole weekend. We've got 6 or 7 of those left. But all great vehicles and special event vehicles that they use at the racetrack. Usually when we get them, they only have 200 or 300 miles on them, and they're still sold as brand new, but they're considered special event. So we actually get to sell them cheaper because they are a special event vehicle, cheaper than if you had one that was identical to it sitting beside of it. We can actually sell the special event cheaper. We got a little extra funny money to play with on those. So if you liked what you saw and you saw it on TV or saw it at the race, come and see us, and we'll make you a heck of a deal on it.
How many you got left?
I think I've got 6 of the Redline double cab 18s and 6 of the crew cab diesels 2500s. They were loaded up, Premier, leather, all the bells and whistles on them.
Cool. Writing these down. 6 Redline double cabs, 6 crew cab diesels that were result at Bristol Motor Speedway, so you get a little discount on those.
Yeah.
Slightly used, I guess.
Barely used. I mean, a couple hundred miles. I mean, we've got new vehicles that aren't special event out here that sometimes have 200 or 300 miles on them because somebody wanted to take a test drive on it over the weekend, see if it fits in their garage, things like that. So it's not a big deal. You can dealers can put up to 7,500 miles in the state of Tennessee and still sell them as new demos. If they go over 75, you have to sell them as used, but it's 200 or 300 miles is nothing.
No, just getting them broke in.
Yep.
We're live here again at Champion Chevrolet. So tell us some of the specials last day of the month. So tell us some of the goodies going on right now.
$5,000 off our remaining 2017 Traverses. We've got $4,000 off on select Colorado LT trucks. 25% off 2017 Cruises. $7,350 off on a new 2017 Chevrolet Impala. $5,000 off on a select 2018 Equinox LT. $5,500 off on select 2017 Malibu LTs. $12,500 off. We've got a 1500 Crew Cab All-Star out there, $12,500 off MSRP on it. Double Cab 4x4 All-Star 2017 Silverado 1500, then $10,500 off on it. So big money discounts, great deals. Interest rates are still super low. www.championjc.com. If you're sitting at home in your bathrobe and want to check it out and not come in on this rainy day, you can basically work out everything from financing to looking at a vehicle to get your trade-in appraised, all from your computer at home.
Well, and before we go, let's zero in on the Silverados, because the truck race this weekend, which is going to be up in Bowmanville, Ontario, is the Chevrolet Silverado 250. So why don't we just roll right in that and segue into promoting the Silverados here, Champion?
Well, we've got 1500 series, the 2500 and the 3500. And the 25 and 3500s are used mainly if you're pulling a horse trailer, you're pulling a big camper, you're pulling just a generic trailer that's heavy duty and hauling a big load. So that's, and we also sell them in work truck series. They've come in LT series, which is your middle of the road, and then LTZ, which is the premier series with leather and sunroof, and you can get diesel engines on the 2500 and 3500 series. 1500s are most of what we sell. That's probably, out of the Silverado series, that's probably 75% of what we sell is 1500s, because not everybody needs to tow a horse trailer every day, or a big camper, or a fifth wheel gooseneck. You can put a fifth-wheel gooseneck in any of these trucks that are Silverados, but mainly people put them in 25 and 3500s to haul big loads.
What's interesting is it's raining. Of course, it stopped right now. We got rain in the forecast. Yet the lot is busy. We got folks all over this thing.
Yeah, we got customers in the office. Got 2 or 3 sets of customers in right now. So it's, a lot of people do wait till the last day of the month because we do have objectives we're trying to hit, and they do know sometimes that's a good day to come out. And sometimes it's a great day, even if it's not the last day. It's a rainy day because, we don't have a lot of traffic, so we will work a little harder than normal to try to work a deal. Even though we do, you look at our newspaper ad, we do have the lowest prices from any dealership from Roanoke to Knoxville or even to Memphis. But, we do have objectives, so sometimes we might squeeze a little bit more out on the last day.
Miss Martin is here today. You've notified her. She will be our second half of the show guest.
I told someone to notify her. I haven't seen her yet. They told me she's here, so she should be here.
Been a sighting.
Yes, if she's not, we'll put Tim on.
Or Cletus. Probably better chance of getting Cletus.
Yeah.
You get Tim. Although Tim came over and was involved in the picking panel.
Yeah.
Do you feel confident about that? Do you feel like you can beat
him?
I'm
going to wear him out. There's no question. It's going to be a bloodbath.
A bloodbath. Andy's going to wear him out of the picking panel. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
He just doesn't have the picking skills like I do. So.
Well, it remains to be seen. But this is, you guys went separate ways. He took the Mountaineers. You took the Hokies. He took the Seminoles, and you took Alabama.
And the Science Hill Dobbins Bennett thing is tough because my kids will go to Science Hill, and I do live here, and so I will support Science Hill, and I do support Science Hill, but because I knew he was going to pick it, well, I'll take one, you take the other sort of deal, so I don't get shot by anybody over in Kingsport anytime soon.
I love this guy. Quick break. We'll be right back. We're here on Champion Chevrolet on show number 584. The Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at FCA.org.
It's Chevy Summer Drive to unbelievable savings at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. With a selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from, don't miss out on the Chevy Summer Drive sale. 17 Silverado Crew Cab 1LT, $11,000 off MSRP. 17 Equinox Traction Traverse, $5,000 off MSRP. 17 Cruisin' Sonic, 25% off MSRP. Shop us online 24/7 and don't forget our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us again on this Thursday. He's getting into the seat, getting ready. We're going to get him on here in just a second. Our buddy Carmichael, who's in the house, and he'll join us coming up here in just a few. Let's run down NFL. Again, it's the final night, again, of the exhibition season, and it goes as follows. These teams playing, and we'll get his take on some of the NFL news that's come out since last Thursday. Jacksonville and Atlanta tonight at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Philadelphia will take on the Jets. The Rams at Green Bay. Detroit at Buffalo. Bengals will be in Indianapolis tonight. Redskins at Tampa Bay. Steelers in Charlotte to battle Carolina. The Giants in New England. Miami at Minnesota. Baltimore, New Orleans. Cleveland at Chicago. The Dallas-Houston game has been canceled. They went ahead and opted to go ahead and scrap that game totally, so that game's been canceled all the way around. Obviously will not be made up. The Cowboys in Houston tonight. They had switched it to AT&T Stadium, but now the Texans said, we're going back to Houston. We've got guys still trapped downtown, can't get out, so that game has totally been washed out, no pun intended. Tennessee at Kansas City, Arizona at Denver, the Chargers in San Francisco, and the one that really matters, the Raiders. My boys will wrap things up tonight at home in the Black Hole in the Coliseum against the Seattle Seahawks. So there you go. That's your NFL preseason. Let's get him in here and see. He is going to be on. Make sure I get the right button here and hit that one right. Boom. There he is. And let's get him in because he's here. We got to get him on. This guy just runs with one name on my show. We just say Carmichael, and he's here. And there he is. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Nah, I'm fine. It's kind of like Dak in Dallas or Zeke or Dez.
Or LeBron.
But in Dallas, especially after that resounding victory that we had last Saturday night in the exhibition game against what's the name of that team? The Raiders, I think they were.
David was going to be with us, but I hear that he had a call. He has to leave. Yeah, we didn't do too good, but that's all right. It was exhibition.
Oh, you got the ball. You had a chance at the end of the game. We knocked down 2 passes in the end zone to save the
victory,
save the day. Yeah,
it's Connor Cook. And E.J. Manuel. Of course, Card already been lifted the starting quarterback. But, all right, what's the latest on Ezekiel Elliott? It started Tuesday. I know the appeal process carried over into yesterday.
And today. They had a witness that could not be there until today. And then once, I guess, they hear from this final witness, then there will be a decision handed down, I would presume, probably tomorrow or Saturday. You'll hear something because that's with Saturday being cut down day. It may make a difference in what Dallas does as far as dropping and adding players. It may not. I still think. It's going to be. I think it'll end up getting knocked down in 4 games.
Think so?
Yeah. After you saw what happened with the guy from Cincinnati yesterday, it was a 5-game suspension. And he's the dirtiest player in the league. Who takes a cheap shot in an exhibition game?
That's pretty low.
Really.
That's anger management there.
And he's had numerous issues with anger management over the past few years in the NFL. And for them to knock it from 5 to 3, that kind of leads me to think I think they'll knock Elliott from 6 to 4.
Yeah. I don't think he'll get off scot-free. He's going to serve.
No, he's going to serve a month. And he's going to get a month at least for that. It would surprise me if he gets all 6 games.
Yeah. The fact that they've canceled the game with the Texans, does that do anything to get them ready for the preseason or the regular season with the Giants next week?
No, it just gives them a day to, I guess, if there's anybody that's that 53rd or 54th player, it may make a decision on what quarterbacks to keep. Their 4th quarterback has looked better than Kellen Moore, their 2nd quarterback. Does that, and also McCown. I don't think he'll make Luke McCown. Don't think he will make the team. But the guy that they've had as their 4th quarterback has engineered the 2 comebacks the last 2 weeks in victory. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's at least 3rd string quarterback and maybe the 2nd string quarterback.
We're going to Carmichael again. John City Parks and Rec comes in every week. Of course, he'll be with us tonight by phone. We're going to fix the phone glitch. We got to work through that because we had a little glitch last week. Couldn't get him on, but got to get him on this week because tonight, again, the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Let's bring it up on the screen again. We're going to let him do the picking panel here in just a second, too. But here we go. It is right here. Boom. Tonight, Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show at 6 o'clock. Had a good following last week, our very first show, and working out a couple of kinks on our end as far as the technical side of things. But we'll have him on again. And, of course, the picking panel. We've had the picking panel right there, TomTaylorSports.com/football. We'll get Carmichael's take coming up here in just a second. See what he thinks about some of the ball games that we're going to be picking for, or have picked, because the picking is over. Let's just go ahead and do that right now.
Okay.
He's picking. Well, I can't. Tennessee, Georgia Tech. Who do you like, Carmichael?
Georgia Tech.
Taking Georgia Tech. All right.
Even though they've had their leading 3 rushers from last year are no longer with them, but they've had good success against the SEC and especially in Atlanta, I have to go with the home team.
Kirkland out for the Tennessee Vols. I think that's a big blow. Meniscus surgery. They're saying he's going to be back, but meniscus surgery is meniscus surgery. So.
And then had another player suspended.
Yep. Richmond.
Yeah. So
I've got the story over
2
here.
starters. So that, and but like I said, Georgia Tech is trying to replace their leading 3 rushers, but they run that wishbone or system that Paul Johnson has run for years. And when you're a team that doesn't see it, maybe once every few years, it's difficult to get ready for. And do you know how much in preseason training in Tennessee really gear up this one game to try to stop this offense? I mean, they had trouble on defense last year stopping, especially Appalachian State was able to run the ball against them. Remember opening week last year. So I look
Missouri instead of Vanderbilt.
Right. So I look for Georgia Tech in an wouldn't maybe be an upset. To some people it would be, but not. I don't think so.
How many years we go back? We go back 30 years. Is that right?
Nope, 30 plus. Yes.
Wow, unbelievable. I keep thinking of that. 30 years. You sure we did the Bucks 30 years ago?
19. Well, we did them 32 years ago. 30 years ago, I was doing them with someone else. But 32 years ago, yes, we did do the Bucks.
Well, I was the voice of the Bucks. Carmichael was on the traveling team with me. We had a great time. 30 years ago, we were together. All right, Tennessee, we got that when you took Georgia Tech. The Mountaineers of West Virginia, Virginia Tech, the Black Diamond Trophy. Who do you like?
I like Virginia Tech, and it's going to be, and it may be maybe one of the 2 most entertaining games of the weekend. It's going to be, if you like points, you're going to see them in this one.
I did the Bucks 30 years ago.
32.
I cannot believe it. We've been together for 30 years. Alabama, Florida State, Seminoles or the Crimson Tide?
My heart says my Noles, but my head says Alabama in Atlanta. I mean, it's like a home game for them.
Texas A&M and UCLA.
And we'll talk about this one a little bit later, but for the win, I'm going to go with UCLA.
Ooh. All right, we'll talk about that one tonight. That's one of the big 5 games, right?
Yes.
For the show tonight.
Actually, I think you've got the 5 we're going over right now, or the 5, yeah.
The Gators and the Wolverines, who finally came out. Felipe Franks will be your starting quarterback for the Gators. They finally announced that Harbaugh got a little testy because he said, I'm not going to tell who my guy is because Michael Wing will tell me who his guy is. But now we know it's Felipe Franks. You like the Gators, you like the Wolverines?
I like King Kaki and Jim Harbaugh in Michigan to win this game.
All right.
Well, is Florida even going to have a team?
2 more suspended, so
they're up 10.
High school football tomorrow night. The rivalry's renewed. Science Hill, Dobbins Bennett tomorrow night.
Toppers.
Oh yeah, Science Hill Hilltoppers. All right. Hampton at Happy Valley.
Happy Valley.
Taking Happy Valley. All right, that's going to be up on the hill, by the way. Elizabethton at Sullivan East.
I like the Cyclones.
All right. Of course, all these may be impacted to a certain degree. It's supposed to be very windy tomorrow night and rainy because of Harvey, so we'll see how that plays out. Some of these, the tough part about only week number 2, some of these football fields are going to be like a hog pen from there on out because of the rain and the swampy, so it's going to kind of mess the fields up for the rest of the season, I would think, with all the rain we're supposed to get. Tennessee High at Daniel Boone tomorrow night.
I like Daniel Boone.
All right.
And I think Boone's going to surprise Tennessee High, and especially at home.
And the final one, Sullivan North at Cosby.
Sullivan North.
Taking Sullivan North.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Mr. Copenhagen is all over. He just buried Andy over walk. It was good stuff. And Andy said, it's going to be a bloodbath. I'm going to whip him. So it's good stuff. So
it's yeah. Well, the high school was fairly easy. I don't think there's Science Hill right now looks like the cream of the crop, at least from the Virginia state line to at least Greenville.
See, next week, if I picked up next week's picking panel is getting ready to go up. Well, I forgot to see if I can remember. I got Georgia, Notre Dame. I got Nebraska, Oregon. I got Auburn, Clemson. Oh gosh, who's up? Pitt, Penn State,
and Stanford, USC, probably.
Stanford, USC. Yeah, that was it. That was it. So that's my 5.
And then next week Greenville Science Hill. Yeah.
Yeah, that's DB at Sevier County.
Yeah.
Gosh, I had those. What do I do with them? I left them at home.
That Greenville Science Hill game will be probably the biggest home game for Science Hill this year.
Oh yeah, big game. We're talking to Carmichael again. We're live here at Champion Chevrolet. So NFL final preseason games are tonight. Your fallout on the Mayweather-McGregor fiasco. What do you think about all that?
I would just soon watch Ric Flair wrestle Ricky Steamboat in a one-fall 60-minute time limit match than that. I mean, it wasn't expected. Just, did Floyd? My thing would be, did Floyd bet on the fight, and what round did he bet on himself? Because he was going to win. He was fighting a guy who's a mixed martial arts guy, who wasn't a puncher, wasn't a boxer. The guy could, you can throw a punch, but he's better getting you down on the ground and ground and pound you rather than sit there and try to fight with you. It's two different sports. It was like the back in the 70s when you had Muhammad Ali fight Antonio Inoki, the wrestler, and they wouldn't let Inoki fight him, so he laid on his back and kicked Ali for 12 or 15 rounds. And then you had Chuck Webner, who fought Ali, the bayonet bleeder, the guy that fought him in Cleveland, the famous, what is like the inspiration for Rocky. He fought Andre the Giant, the wrestler. And Andre picked him up and threw him over the ropes, and that was all she wrote. She wrote. It was just Floyd. People will buy anything.
Yeah.
Literally, that if you ever have a proof in America that people will buy anything,
McGregor.
People they crash the public. That's why I don't think the Super Bowl, the NFL, these net sports leagues are watching what happened Saturday night. They crashed the pay-per-view. They couldn't get. They had to hold the fight for almost an hour so they could get the fight on, so people could watch it. Well, you think about that. Well, what would the Super Bowl be like, or what would the NCAA National Championship game be like on a pay-per-view? And you'd crash it, right? Unless they come up with better technology, you'd crash the pay-per-view sites. And so I don't think any time in the future you're going to see the Super Bowl on pay-per-view.
We're talking to our buddy Carmichael. We'll go down to Johnson City Parks and Rec, see what's coming up here in just a minute. Angie joins us a little bit later on here in the show. Carmichael rejoins us tonight on the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview. He's going to break down these in its in-depth. Each one of these games, turns out the picking panel are the same 5 that he has picked, and so we'll go through those tonight and let him go at it a little bit deeper into the old analysis. Kevin Harmon will be along to give you an in-depth about the Tennessee-Georgia Tech game from his perspective. Chris McCall from right here at Champion Chevrolet is going to do the Hokie preview. He said, man, I love the Hokies. I said, it's yours, dog. So he's going to do the West Virginia. We're going to Carmichael talk about all of them too, and then these guys are going to zero in on those particular ball games. Let's talk NASCAR. They're heading off to Darlington after a week off, and the heat's on. You got guys on the outside looking in. We're down to 2 races to get to the chase, and so it is pressure-packed time this weekend at the track they call the track Too Tough to Tame.
And it's win or go home for a lot of guys coming up, and they've got to do well. The real guy I really think has the most pressure of anybody is Joey Logano. I'm not saying it's just because I'm not a fan of the Cheesecake Factory boy, but you had a win earlier in the year, and you had it basically vacated, and now you're having to try to, and you were one of the favorites to be in the championship, not only in the final 16, but he was a favorite to be in the final 4 at the end of the season. And now he's got to win one of 2 races, or he's out. He's not going to make it on points. So the pressure is really on Logano this weekend in Darlington.
I would think so as well. Of course, Junior, they're calling it a Dale Murray now to get him in because he's his second worst average finish of his career. He's averaging a 22nd place finish in all the races. So Junior's got to crank it up. You've got Kenseth, you've got Chase Elliott, you've got several guys that are on the outside looking in. Since last week, Elliott, they switched the number. He's going to bring back the number 9 to drive the number 9 for the same number his dad used when he was in the sport. So William Byron jumps over into the 24 number. So what's your take on Rick Hendrick bringing back the number 9 of Bill Elliott?
I'm guessing to honor him to do that, and I would think now you just wonder what will happen with the 5. Will he still keep the 5? That was, I mean, for later on, I mean, he had the 5 when Terry Labonte drove for him back in the day, or will the 5 maybe follow Casey Kane if he finds a ride somewhere?
So right now, Rick Hendrick for next year, 48 Jimmy Johnson, 88 Alex Bowman, the 24 of William Byron, and now the 9 of Chase Elliott will be the numbers on the cars going forward in 2018. Also, a lot of buzz up at the Speedway a couple of weeks back with the Chevrolet Camaro being rolled out for 2018. A lot of positive feedback about the Camaro, and it looks a little bit more like a car that you would drive in off the street and race. So that was to the appeal of a lot of fans I talked to.
Yeah, and they want to be able. The fans want to have something that kind of looks a little bit like what you can buy out here on the lot. I mean, it makes it, because when you drive it, you think you're your favorite driver behind the wheel of that car.
Sure. NBA, Kyrie Irving and Isaiah Thomas, they finally, looks like they said yesterday, they finally will get this mega trade finished and move on. So what's your take? Who wins, who loses in this particular trade?
I still think the Celtics win. They gave up an extra second-round pick, which that's a non-guaranteed contract for Cleveland next year. I think the Cavs win a little bit if they get Kyrie back and if they get Isaiah back and he's healthy. The hip is no problem. They win. I think they win in the short term. I think in the long term, I think the Celtics win. I think Kyrie's a younger player, a more dynamic player offensively than Isaiah. Isaiah's kind of limited what he can do offensively, but he can score. He was basically a lot of Boston's offense last year, driving to the basket. But a 5'9" guy, 5'8" guy driving to the basket in the NBA, he's not going to last a whole lot. He's 29. He's had some injuries. He's bound. This is now his 4th team. His thing was he made the statement at the end of the year, back up the truck. I'm going to get paid. So we'll see. Does Cleveland commit to him long term? Depends on what happens with LeBron. All signs are pointing for LeBron to go to Los Angeles next year. If that happens, does Cleveland then try to rebuild with Isaiah? Kevin Love, they were buddies. They played AAU basketball together. And a lot of times now you're more buddies with the guys you played AAU basketball with than you are buddies with guys you played high school or college with, because you traveled that road. You played a lot of summers and springs together, more maybe than you played in college. So does Cleveland then, they tell Isaiah and Kevin, hey, you two are going to be the foundation of our franchise. They've got a first-round draft pick, Brooklyn's pick, which I think is going to be better than. I think Brooklyn's going to be a better team this year than a lot of people lead to think. I think Brooklyn could even sneak into one of the last spots in the Eastern Conference playoffs this year. They're not going to be as bad as they were last year, so it may not be a lottery pick. But it still could be another young piece they can use to draft, to build. And, if LeBron does leave, maybe they make it a sign-and-trade deal, and they're able to get another piece back for him, kind of like what they did with Miami. Maybe they're able to get another piece back for him at the end of the year next year. But Kyrie gives Boston that offensive player. You put him with Gordon Hayward, makes Boston a formidable team in the East.
Talking to our buddy Carmichael again. We're talking sports at Champion Chevrolet. Dave Angie joins us coming up at the bottom of the hour, which is in about 5 or 10 minutes. We're going to get him in to wrap the show up. Also, Kristen Martin will come down from the Internet Sales Office here at Champion and grace us with her presence. We're looking forward to hearing from Kristen coming up here in a few minutes. College basketball, we lose one of the, I feel like, pretty good coach in his day. Raleigh Massimino passes away at the age of 82.
Lost 2 in the past few days. Lost Judd Heathcote a few days ago. 79 national championship at Michigan State. Coach made his bones at Montana in the Big Sky Conference in the mid-70s. Got hired at Michigan State, won the national championship with Magic Johnson. Brought Tom Izzo in as his assistant. Then Tom took over. Massimino, one of the architects of the Big East Conference in the mid-'80s, won a national championship, that miracle championship with Villanova over Georgetown. Went on, I think he made a mistake leaving, and went on, he followed Tarkanian at Nevada, Las Vegas. That didn't go well. Then he went to Cleveland State, and that failed even bigger. But you can't forget his run at Villanova. He had a great run the years he was there.
So we lose Judd Heathcote and Raleigh Massimino on the local scene. Gentlemen, I called these games way back in the day at Mooney Field.
Yes.
Coach Harold Stout, Milligan coach, East Tennessee State baseball coach. We lose him yesterday from Elizabethton, and some great memories of Coach Stout.
Yes, and that sad. I saw that yesterday afternoon, and that it brought back a lot of memories back, especially those days. They were not a very good baseball team at that point in time, but he was an excellent coach. Was an excellent coach at Milligan during the 70s. Built Milligan to a powerhouse in NAIA especially in this area, and had a lot of great players out there in the mid to late 70s and early 80s. But ETSU, when he took over, that was a time when the administration at the university at that time cut out a lot of funding for baseball, and Coach Stout had to kind of make do with what he had.
One other sad note too, Les Robinson, the former coach at East Tennessee State, his wife Barbara, great lady, knew her when he was here when I was doing the Bucks, and of course she passed away last week as well. So we've had some folks again locally and nationally we've lost here in the last 4, 5, 6 days. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Coach Robinson and of course the Harold Stout family over in Carter County. Carmichael baseball, before I let you go here, we've got, we're winding it down here. September becomes suddenly the interdivisional month where a lot of things are going to be decided. And who do you like right now in that National League Central? Still the Cubs?
I still like the Cubs. The 3 division winners, of course, Washington, Los Angeles, and the Cubs. I like in the wild card, I like Arizona. And I'm going to tell you my surprise, Miami. They have, until they ran into Washington this week, they've been playing about as well of baseball as anybody in the National League. And looking at going over their records yesterday, if they continue to play at the same pace they've been playing, they'll overtake Colorado. They're down 5.5. They were 5.5 games behind going into yesterday. They'll overtake Colorado. They'll overtake St. Louis, Milwaukee. I think the only other team besides, I don't think Colorado will get there. If Miami doesn't, I look for Milwaukee then to be the second wild card. You go to the American League, Boston still, I think they've got that division in control. I think Cleveland's got the Central in control, and of course Houston in the West. I like for the 2 wild cards right now, I like the Yankees and the Twins. The Twins are hanging it. That's a team that they have not gone away, and they've got a lot of. Not only did they make the changes in the front office, they brought in some veteran pitchers. Bartolo Colon was terrible in Atlanta first few months of the year. He's went back to the American League, and he's been successful. He's given them a veteran arm. Brian Buxton, who is one of the top prospects in baseball, struggled. He couldn't have broke the window at that door, the glass, the way he was hitting the first of the year. He's come around now. He's going to be, looks like he's a possibility of being a 2020 guy this year, stolen bases, home runs. Twins have a good young team. I think they're going to be the second wild card and play the Yankees for the right to play Houston in the first round of the playoffs.
Daniel Norris tonight gets a rehab start in Toledo with the Toledo Mud Hens, again with the Detroit Tigers, the AAA team. So good luck to Daniel tonight. Again, a little bit more intense start after his last one with that groin injury, and hopefully, I think it's been said, if he does what they want him to do tonight, they'll put him back in the rotation starting in a week or 2.
Rosters go up to 40 beginning tomorrow, so I still think, and I'm not a baseball general manager, and sometimes I just play one on the Tom Toa show. I think, and they've got Shane Green right now closing for Detroit, but I really think Daniel would be a better closer, or Andrew Miller type arm, where he's got that live power arm, and he does well, especially that first time through the order. And I think eventually now that, I don't know if Detroit's even looked at that, they've thought about it, maybe they have. I think that maybe is his future in the game, is either being that 8th inning guy to come in, that situational guy, or a future closer down the road for the Tigers.
We're talking baseball coming up here in just a second, but in closing here, my man Carmichael, what's going on with Johnson City Parks and Rec?
We've got several things going on. We've got homeschool teens next Tuesday. It's going to be Color and Coffee Club. Free coffee, mercy, for 13 to 17-year-olds and coloring material. Imagine you're already 13 to 17, and now we're going to give you coffee, which is just going to, almost like saying Red Bull, but jacking you up a little, crank it up. But coloring materials, do some art, good opportunity to meet some other homeschoolers. A lot of homeschool children in the area. A good opportunity to socialize and meet them. That is next Tuesday, September 5th, from 10 to 10:45 at Memorial Park. First Responder Appreciation Day, especially with the storms in Houston and the Texas area, we've seen how our first responders are heroes. They are heroes. And we're having a big thank you at the Carver Recreation Center on September 25th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Any first responders in the area, just have your ID. Could be Johnson City, Washington County, Carter County, anywhere. Have your ID. The Carver Rec's going to provide you with lunch or dinner that day from 11 to 7. And Herb cooks up a big feed down there. So if you have a first responder, go down there for that day. Just show your identification. The Dolly and Me Tea Party, can't forget that. That's coming up next Saturday, September 9th from 10 to 11. Bring your favorite doll, enjoy your friends, and have treats, and you do some take-home crafts. $5 a ticket, ages 4 to 12. That means I can't go. I can't take my Sheldon doll that I've got on my computer stand, and my computer stand in the office. I have a little Sheldon right beside my desk. I can't take Sheldon down to the Dolly and Me and get sweet treats that day. So, but anybody else can go, ages 4 to 12. You must pre-register to attend at the Memorial Park Community Center. It'll be Saturday, September 9th from 10 to 11, $5 for that. The Blue and Gold, Maroon and Gold Unite, going to be September 14th at Carver Recreation Center from 5 to 8. Carver's going to bring former Langston and Science Hill High School football players, students there for that day. There's going to be food and drink. There's going to be inflatables, disc golf going on there. They're going to induct in the Carver Recreation Hall of Fame former Science Hill athletes and students Jeremy Stevens, Andrell Anderson, Bart Line, and Lee Mylan. Bart runs the Junior Topper football program, does some radio work with the Toppers. Andrell played there many years ago, back in the late 80s, early 90s, and Jeremy did a lot of work underneath for Science Hill as a supporter. Lost him a year or so ago. From Langston High, it's Will Ray, Callie Red. Miss Red, I had her as a teacher at Science Hill, or at Liberty Bell Middle School 40 plus years ago. She's still alive. She's the last Langston teacher still alive. And Mary Frances Bridwell and Virginia Goins. And then the Science Hill football team will be served dinner there at 6 o'clock. It's right before homecoming, Thursday night before homecoming in 2 weeks, when Science Hill takes on Daniel Boone that week. And finally, Grandparents and Seniors Days at the Carver Recreation Center, Sunday, September 17th from 3 to 5. There's going to be some activities there that afternoon, brain games, meal and everything. 3 to 5, just RSVP by Friday, September 15th. For more information, anything going on at Carver, you can call 461-8830. For any information over at the Memorial Park Community Center, 483-574-5749, or go to www.myjcparks.org.
There you go. Great report, my friend. We'll talk to you tonight on the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show.
Yes, sir.
Yep, quick break. We'll be right back. We're live at Champion Chevrolet on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at FCA.org.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here at the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400. Your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
It's Chevy Summer Drive to unbelievable savings at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. With a selection of over 600 new Chevys to choose from, don't miss out on the Chevy Summer Drive sale. 17 Silverado Crew Cab 1LT, $11,000 off MSRP. 17 Equinox Traction Traverse, $5,000 off MSRP. 17 Cruisin' Sonic, 25% off MSRP. Shop us online 24/7 and don't forget our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, there he is, Dave Onge from the News and Neighbor. We're live here at Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Highway Motor Mile, Johnson City. Coming up in a little bit, we'll be checking in with our buddy Kristen Martin with Internet Sales here at Champion. So we are ready for show number 2 tonight. It's going to be the second installment of the Champion Chevrolet five-star football preview. We got lots to talk about. We have Doug Fritz going to check in with us. Today is Fritz's birthday, by the way. He is 27, 28 years old.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, he's having a birthday, so we're going to check in with him. Also, we've got Joe Avento who's going to join us to give us a preview of the Buccaneer ball game. Chris McCall is going to join us from right here, going to do the Hokie preview. The Hokies taking on West Virginia. Dave Onge is going to showcase the Big East Conference, including the big matchup tomorrow night, Dobbinsville and Science Hill in Johnson City on the artificial surface. So Harvey's rain and wind will affect some of it, but not much. Well, it'll affect it, but not like, I should say, a natural surface. It's going to get a lot of rain, and it's going to be very sloppy tomorrow night. So he'll showcase the Big East Conference. Kevin's going to join us. Kevin Armin's going to join us live by phone to preview the Tennessee-Georgia Tech tussle down in Atlanta this weekend. And, of course, Carmichael we just had on the show. He's going to preview the Big Five college football games. So week number 2, we had entries from, West Virginia, Kingsport, Elizabeth, and Jonesboro, Johnson City in the first week. And so we've already put out the brand new picking panel for next week, Dave Onge, and we've already got folks beginning to pick. So this thing's starting to snowball already, which is what we want. We knew in the maiden voyage and the infancy it's going to take a while to get it rolling, but thanks to Jeremiah Clark and the folks at Appalachian Digital, which is our tech guy, the producer of this show, it's already starting to take off. That's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. And around this part of the country, generally you yell football, people come running, so that's what we're doing here. We're talking football, and we have a knowledgeable people. The list of guests that you just mentioned there, folks that know what they're talking about. So if you want to be ready for Friday, Saturday, all the way through the big Labor Day weekend, you got to listen in tonight. A lot of good insight. So it's going to be fun. Come back, talk a little bit of football with you a little bit later on, and definitely good to be here now.
Were you surprised last week of any of the ball games that the way anything came out? Both, well, not much going on in college, but primarily high school. Any surprises from last week?
Yeah, there were some head scratchers last week. To me, I really have to admit the fact that Science Hill scored 62 points, down there at Ooltewah is a surprise. I didn't think they were going to lose that game. I thought they had a good chance to win it. But to score that many points against a quality opponent. We talked about the road trip last Thursday night, how long they're going down the road. They didn't miss a beat. They played well, and I won't get too much into Science Hill DV, but man, that game I think offers a lot of insight. And Dobbins-Bennett last week as well, and that's one that caught me a bit by surprise. They bounced back from a performance in week 1, where they were really hampered by turnovers. They gave the ball away a lot, and that was pretty much the deciding factor in that ball game. Then they come back next week, this last week against Oak Ridge. They run it well behind that offensive line. They take care of the football, and they find a way to win that ball game. So, yeah, it's a lot of interesting stuff going on.
Some of the picking panel from already for this week, Jerry from Elizabeth and the Texas A&M UCLA game took Texas A&M. In fact, most of the folks in the picking panel the first week went with the Aggies on the road at UCLA, and you think Jerry's going to be right or wrong?
Well, I'll tell you, that's going to be an interesting football game from the aspect at UCLA. They've kind of switched around their offensive coordinator situation. They brought Jed Fish in, which, what he does on offense is going to be completely different than what they saw when these two teams played. I believe it was last year. So you really don't have any film on what they're going to do. You have a general idea what they like to do, but there's not going to be a lot of that on tape for you to go look at. So UCLA has a chance to kind of hit them in the mouth early, and they're playing there, at home. So it's going to be an uphill fight for Texas A&M. They wound up winning that game, I think, rather easily last year. They pulled away and won that one, but definitely you're playing a good quarterback, a new offensive coordinator. That's going to be a challenge.
Talking to our buddy again, Dave Onge, again, the co-host of the show tonight. And, of course, you see on the screen the News and Neighbor. This was your first News and Neighbor last week, right?
It was. The one that came out Wednesday.
I thought it was very well
Very
done.
excited. Yeah, I want to talk about that because Trey Williams, who is an absolute master, wrote a story on Gerald Sensabaugh, Dobbins-Bennett, that everybody has to go read. I was excited putting it in there and excited when it came out. Gary Gray is a great writer, wrote about the new King Commons Park downtown Johnson City. Just a lot of great information in there. It was a lot of fun to put together, and I think it'll be a lot of fun to read if folks go out there and pick up a copy.
Yep, got my copy the other day. Of course, it's full of ads. When advertisers you know, when they got all these, what do you call them, circulars, that you have flyers or circulars in a paper, that tells me that they know that somebody's reading this particular newspaper, the News and Neighbor. I mean, when I got mine, I thought, gosh, look at all these ads in there. That tells me that those folks know that somebody's reading this paper. What, 30,000 circulation?
Yep, yeah, definitely so. And the good thing about our readers too, you know, it's there's a lot to read in that paper. You know, sometimes it's hard to do in one sitting, but it comes out once a week. You know, and the research shows that our readers kind of hold on to that thing for 3 or 4 days. So, you know, if you're an advertiser, they're going to be flipping through that thing. They're going to go back and they're going to see it more than once. You know, you pay to put an ad in, it's going to have visibility, and they're going to go back to it. And when people go back and see the same thing over and over again, you know, they'll come visit you. They'll come out and buy some stuff from you. So definitely a good deal.
Tricia Newhouse in Oak Hill, West Virginia was one of our entries last week. And ironically enough, living in West Virginia, she picked the Virginia Tech Hokies, which I thought was very interesting, which is almost taboo in West Virginia. But she went with the Hokies. So we'll see how that goes for you up in Oak Hill, Tricia. I'm glad you're watching. I'm glad you're part of the show. But whew, that's a dangerous pick.
That's tough. We might not have should have put her name out there like that, but she definitely that's not gonna make her popular, but she might be right, you know, and if she's right, then, you know, she's gonna have bragging rights on a lot of people for a long time. But this could be a good football game. I'm glad those two teams are playing. You know, that's one where, you know, they're literally right over the mountain from each other there, you know, and and I know right there on the border especially, there's a lot of heated stuff going on. Almost, you know, I'd kind of liken it to Tennessee and Virginia Tech when they played at Bristol last year. You had a lot of households even that are kind of split on that ball game. I think it'll be that way, and I think it'll be a good football game because I think you have two pretty entertaining teams going out there to play.
The game you're interested in because Dave's team is the Wolverines of Michigan, and the Florida Gators neutral site in Arlington coming up. That'll be happening, of course, this weekend, and so I'm looking at my man, my friend Eugene Jeffers down in Greenville. Hello, Eugene. Eugene went with the University of Michigan. So Mr. Angi's going to be proud of your pick.
I'm proud of Eugene. And I hope he had a lot of company on there. Come on. I mean, you know, you look at it, I have lost track of how many players Florida has suspended at this point. They're up to 10, I think. And, you know, they're starting a redshirt freshman quarterback that kind of emerged from that competition where nobody really reached out and got that job. So, you know, I'll tell you this. If Michigan loses that game, Michigan's in some big trouble this season, I think, at least initially. And Michigan has a lot of young players. They'll get better as the year goes on, as most college teams do when they're well coached. But, if they lose that one, they have some work to do because if Florida's depleted at this point, they're not as good at quarterback. You know, it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. But, yeah, I think Eugene's a smart man.
We'll have the new pick'em panel tonight on the show. Again, I know for sure next week I got Georgia, Notre Dame. I got Nebraska and Oregon. I got Clemson and Auburn, which is an obvious. I've got Pitt and Penn State. And I think the fifth one, if I'm not mistaken, the fifth one will be Southern Cal and Stanford. Okay. I think that's the five I've got.
Wow, they're playing early.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be something.
The high school picks would be Greenville, Science Hill. See if I can do this from memory. Greenville, Science Hill, Dobbins, Bennett, Sevier County. Oh, boy. After that, it gets real foggy real quick.
Yeah.
Elizabeth and Daniel Boone. That's the third one. There's two more picks, and I apologize. I can't remember. We'll have them tonight on the show, but you give you reason to, again, dial back in. So here's how it works. Let me show you on the screen real quick, and we'll get Dave's take on some NASCAR news because they moved into Darlington this weekend for a very, very important race. So here is the contest promo. Right there it is, TomTaylorSports.com/football. The new pick'em panel, I believe it goes up tonight when the show starts. It'll be good through next Wednesday. And then, of course, we'll figure out who wins. And if you win, if you're Tricia Newhouse and you win in Oak Hill, West Virginia, you get $25. And if you are someone local, you're going to get $25 worth of a prize. So either way, you can't go wrong. And so that will be coming up. The brand new pick'em panel will be this evening. And, of course, Dave and I will go together tonight. And we're kind of going to tag team. So you're against everybody else out there, but we're going to have fun because we're going to, as Andy said a few minutes ago to his counterpart, Tim Copenhagen, said it's going to be a bloodbath. So he and I are going to put our heads together, and we're going to give you the five pick'em panel, both college and high school tonight. So you got to come back in and check us out tonight beginning at 6 o'clock right here on Facebook and also at TomTaylorSports.com and see how we pick. He and I are going to go together and see how we're going to pick the pick'em panel this week as well. Now, if there is a contradiction, how do we settle that? Who wins out? Or we can't be contradictory, can we?
The way I understand it, you know, there's been research put in. It's your head and my head,
yeah.
and my abacus.
Yep.
You know, the counting beads there. So that'll probably break the tie. You know, we'll get science into it to break the tie. But you can't beat me, Tom, in science.
No.
I mean, that's just it's not fair. So if you want to know who's going to win the games this weekend, listen in tonight. Spoiler alert, and we're going to tell you who's going to win, who's going to lose, and you'll know it all after tonight.
And we may tease you for next week's picking panel too, because if you need help next week picking the panel, we've already got folks from last week's picking panel already put their name in. So yeah, I know the picking panel's out there because I already got repeat entries. So if you think you can beat us and you think you can win this thing, I mean, $25 is $25. And so, and in fact, I've been told we're probably going to up the ante even more because I got a couple of sponsors going, we want in on this. So it may grow here week by week. We're in our infancy. I'll be our second show tonight. We've changed the technology here so Dave and I can talk. I've got that fixed where we can talk to the guest, and so we'll have more interaction between the two of us and the guest today. So it's it's constantly kind of fluid in motion, but anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you'll join us tonight at 6 o'clock right back here. We do it every Thursday from right here in the Champion Showroom, the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Andy said by next week we'll have a big backdrop in here, so we're getting highfalutin around here. So
can't get the big head, though.
No.
We've got to keep it.
Maintain.
Got to keep your feet on the ground, as they say.
Yep.
Head in the clouds, feet on the ground.
There you go. My father used to say, don't get above your racing. It's not too far from the big house to the outhouse.
Yeah.
I was okay, Daddy. He was probably right.
Yeah.
So NASCAR, Darlington, the heat's on. You've got drivers that have got to get in. Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Matt Kenseth, Clint Boyer. The heat's on. I think you're going to see him take a lot of risks and gambles this weekend for the Bojangles Southern 500 in Darlington. Throwback paint schemes. Martin Truex Jr., the defending champ. Your take on the race this weekend?
I think it's great, what they've done with this. And what's kind of funny about it, most things, there's so many things in NASCAR that are kind of orchestrated, because it's either sponsor driven or, the sport itself tries to do things that are orchestrated. This came about so organically, You just had a driver or two in the beginning that said, you know what, Darlington's kind of a throwback place, kind of a grittier track, one of the grittier tracks we go to. We'd like to do kind of a throwback paint scheme at this track, and then everybody started doing it because those things just look so cool, so that's always just a big draw to it. But you're right about this. I mean, when you look at the big names, and a lot of them are at the point now where they got to win to get in. It's just the way it's getting. You're going to see fuel mileage stuff going on. You're going to see aggressive driving going on. I mean, it's going to be kind of a wide open free for all. So I think it's going to be a great show. And it's going to be a very entertaining race. I think it's good for NASCAR to have this race and then to have Richmond coming up as they get ready to go into the playoffs, because there's going to be a lot of beating and banging and stuff going on these next 2 weeks as drivers try to qualify. And the stars kind of aligned for them on the point stuff this year because you do have drivers that they're throwing Hail Marys out there now because they got to get a win to get in. So it's going to be fun to see what happens.
Chase Elliott, Matt Kenseth, Jamie McMurray, Clint Boyer. Of course, Logano had that win that was encumbered at Richmond, so you got to know he's got a sick feeling heading into his last two races because he was in. Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez, Trevor Bayne out of Knoxville, and Dale Jr., the guys that are kind of in the hunt for the final couple of Chase championship slots. And so you've got this race, and of course next Saturday night will be at Richmond. Then it gets all cranked up and ready to go at Chicagoland. So yes, I would think there's going to be a lot of gambling, a lot of risk-taking, and, of course, the Darlington Raceway is known as a track too tough to tame, so it frequently a lot of attrition down at this track. A lot of folks start out with good intentions and end up not finishing the race.
Yeah, especially when you have drivers that are pressing, and these ones down here on this list that need to win to get in are on that, because there's such a fine line at Darlington, which, where the racing groove's at, you got to be up along that wall to be fast, and there's going to be drivers who are trying to get a lot more out of their race cars than what they got, just because they're fighting for a playoff spot, So you're going to see, talk about the Darlington stripe that people get in their cars. There's going to be a lot of those going on this week. You're going to see quite a few of those on a lot of race cars. I think there's going to be a lot of cautions, and what that'll happen, it'll make those late race restarts. I think you'll see a lot of them in a row. Probably the last, 30 laps of this race, you're going to see a few restarts, and everybody knows their chance to kind of get up there, get in the lead, maybe get that win they need so much is going to depend on those restarts, and that's where things really get pretty wild.
Since last week we were here, again, we're talking to Dave Andre, the news and neighbors here on the screen. Coming up, we got Kristen Martin's going to join us, the internet sales here in Champion, to kind of wrap the show up. But since last week, Rick Hendrick Motorsports announcing that they're going to bring back the number 9, put Chase Elliott in it, to commemorate and honor his father, who drove the number 9 for so many years on the NASCAR scene. They're going to move William Byron over to the 24, so next year it'll be Jimmy Johnson in the 48, Alex Bowman in the 88, Chase Elliott in the number 9, and as we said, you would put William Byron in the number 24 ride. So I thought that was kind of a cool. He will retain the number 5, Casey Kane. It may go with Kane. Right now, Rick Hendrick maintains that number 5 number. He's just not going to use it next year. So at this point, so if Kane resurfaces somewhere, he can use that 5 if he wants. But right now, it still belongs to Hendrick. But your thoughts on Chase Elliott and the Bill Elliott number 9?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, great for the sport. I think at a time when Earnhardt leaves, when they're really looking for as many stars as possible, anytime you can draw upon your past that way, I think it's big, and it connects him a little more strongly to Bill Elliott. And I think that's a positive, and that's really the number that Chase Elliott grew up driving anyway. So the 5, I don't think anybody's going to be sorry to see that go at Hendrick because of the fact that it's just been like a cursed number. It just has not panned out. Kyle Busch drove that 5 car early in his career, and it just, that guy had no kind of luck in that car. Casey Kane comes over after having a season, I believe it was 2008 or somewhere in there, 7 or 8. He had that year where he won like 8 or 9 races or something, was just tearing it up. He never did anything in the 5. So I think if I heard Hendrick correctly, he said he's going to park that number on the sidelines. He may bring it back at some point. I think it won't go with Kane, and I don't think Kane would want that thing attached to him anyway at this point. He's probably ready for a fresh start. So we may not see that 5 for a while because it's been, out of all those cars, you look at all the wins they've had at Hendrick, that 5 car hasn't really been among them very often.
I guess really the last guy that had any success in that number 5 was the guy I used to follow, the Iceman, Terry Labonte.
Yep.
And so when he kind of stepped away and they kind of shuffled the number to other folks, like Dave said, success has been far and few between for the number 5 ride. But again, they'll do that starting next year in 2018. This weekend is the throwback paint scheme down at Darlington, which really I think is neat. I know a lot of the older NASCAR fans up at Bristol last couple of weeks ago, and I was talking to them, they really enjoyed the fact that they're going to go back and throw back the paint scheme. So a lot of folks looking forward to this. Darlington's onto something.
Yeah, definitely so. And Richard Petty was talking, I think I heard him this morning saying he can't wait to get to the garage area and go back and just see all those cars, and that's something, Richard Petty, he's not wet behind the ears at all. He's been around a while. So when you get him excited about something, a guy that's seen about everything you can see in the sport, you got something really good going on. And, I think it's valuable. You mentioned the older NASCAR fans, and there are, kind of a lot of older fans in the sport, and they'll appreciate that. But I think it's also a good learning opportunity, for the younger drivers and younger fans, the next generation coming up. Maybe they'll see the paint schemes, kind of hear some of the stories, and kind of look back at the history of the sport, kind of get better roots developed into it, and everybody gets a greater appreciation of the rich history of the sport as well. So yeah, definitely a lot of reasons to be excited this weekend.
Speaking of Richard Petty, he and Bill Elliott, we were talking about both, they'll be serving as the official pace car drivers for this weekend's Bojangles Southern 500 in Darlington, which is a pretty cool thing. We're talking again to Dave Onge, again from the News and Neighbor. He'll be co-hosting the show tonight. The Champion Chevrolet 5-star football preview. We'll be talking high school football with Doug Fritz, all the big games around the area, and get some prognostication from the birthday boy. Also, Dave will be breaking down the Big East Conference. It is a conference opening weekend for the Big East, and so, of course, none bigger than DB Science Hill. We'll talk more about that one tonight on the show. Also, Joe Avento will be live with us on the phone, again previewing the Limestone College Buccaneer ball game. Big pullout today in the Johnson City Press about the new stadium at East Tennessee State, and so Joe will be along to give us a preview of the opponent and the Bucs as well. Kevin Harmon, the very latest on Tennessee. You lose the big lineman, is off the team. Violation of team rules, won't be there this weekend for Georgia Tech game. Kirkland is out hurt, had meniscus surgery. I think the Kirkland injury is bigger. No, let me rephrase that. I think it's more severe than they're letting on down in Knoxville. Meniscus surgery, even with today's modern medicine, meniscus surgery is still your meniscus muscle, and so I think that's a big one. And I've been hearing everything from out a couple of games, half the season, the whole season, redshirt him. So that one's huge for Tennessee.
Yeah, that's one of those injuries that's really tricky to know how it's going to respond until they get in there and kind of see what they're dealing with, and then how that tissue heals up and regenerates. I mean, it's miserable to play football with a sore knee. I mean, just absolutely miserable. You're on the ground and getting up so much, and just the force, when you're kind of colliding with people, it's no picnic. So everybody responds different. We'll see how that works out. They've come a long way medically, but yeah, that's still something to be to be cautious about. You never want people out, especially this opening game. When you have younger guys who are going to be coming in, or less experienced players coming in behind, on a big stage like this, a big first game, you just don't want those jitters to be on display when you really need to depend on people. So, that's going to be interesting to see how Tennessee responds. I think, we talk a lot about turnovers in football. It does come down to that. But, with younger guys and guys in the game that maybe weren't expecting to play a week ago, you're going to see some busts and some things happen you normally don't see. So that'll be fun to see how that materializes.
We'll shift to pro football. We'll get his take on Matthew Stafford and Ezekiel Elliott coming up here in a minute. Let's give you the schedule. Tonight's the final night of the NFL preseason. The real team plays, the only one that really matters. The Raiders. Tonight in the Black Hole against Seattle. Chargers at San Francisco. Arizona, Denver. The Titans will be in Kansas City tonight. Cleveland, the Browns in Chicago to battle the Bears. Baltimore, New Orleans. Miami and Minnesota to battle the Vikings. Giants in New England. Steelers in Charlotte to battle the Carolina Panthers. Washington, these are all tonight's games. Washington at Tampa Bay. Cincinnati at Indianapolis. Detroit at Buffalo. The Packers at Lambeau playing host to the Rams tonight. Philadelphia against the Jets in New York, and the Falcons in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, playing host to the Jacksonville Jags. And, of course, the Dallas-Houston game has been totally scrapped now because of all the flooding, obviously, with Harvey down to the Houston area. So everybody plays tonight, all these teams. Most of the starters will play maybe a series, I think. Then we'll get them off the field if they play at all, because this is the final tune-up for the regular season opener next week.
Yeah, well, this is the chance. They're finalizing rosters here. So, I think, we've seen it in the past. A lot of times, like you mentioned, you don't see any starters at all in this thing. And, the one thing that you got to wonder about, obviously they have bigger issues than football going on down in Houston in that area, and it just a terrible deal down there. But when you're looking from a personnel standpoint with Houston and Dallas, how do you make those final cuts without the final chance for those guys to be on the field for, you have 4 quarters worth of guys who are being in consideration for roster spots. So, they're going to have to evaluate kind of without this last game. So that kind of throws a little curveball for them from personnel standpoint that the other teams in the league don't have. And a lot of people I think have gained more insight on how training camp works over the last few years with Hard Knocks from HBO. They do a good job of showing kind of how the process goes for every team, and it's uniform for about every team. And then you see them come down. Okay, we have to make our final cuts, and they're letting a lot of good football players walk out the door. And a lot of times it comes down to a good play or a bad play made in this last final preseason game. So while there won't be any stars on the field tonight, there's going to be a lot of intensity and a lot of urgency, because everybody that's playing football tonight is playing for a job, more or less. And it's everybody's job is on the line. So that's the kind of drama you just can't manufacture.
We're talking to Dave Onge again for the News and Neighbor, obviously on the screen. We're live here at Champion Chevrolet. Kristen Martin joins us coming up here in a few minutes to wrap up the show. Ezekiel Elliott started on Tuesday, went into Wednesday, and I understand he's still up there again today doing some more appealing to the NFL office and the arbitrator that's hearing this case. 3 days into it, does that play good for Ezekiel Elliott, or does that play bad for Elliott for the fact that it's now going on his 3rd day of appealing this?
Well, I would read that as it being a good thing, because it shows me that, the waters are at least muddied a little bit, I think, in terms of the evidence he's presenting and the evidence they have. I don't think that this is going to get scrubbed away. I think just looking at how the NFL has handled stuff in the past, they started with a big number, and that gives them room to kind of reduce it back a little bit, and then everybody walks away feeling better about it. I mean, I just think that's what we're looking at here. I think Ezekiel Elliott is going to get this suspension cut by maybe 2 games or so, and be back out there playing football. And it's just for the NFL, and we've talked about it. We've seen a lot of these cases over the years. It is really tough for them to be in the position that they're in, where they're handling discipline stuff, and they're handling it the way they're handling it, because it makes them, judge and jury, and you appeal to the NFL, and there's just a lot of forces at play there where I don't know if they need to look at how they handled the disciplinary side of it or not. If they have an outside outside group of people they can go to kind of mediate and arbitrate these things and make some decisions. But it's curious, and there's been some inconsistency over the years too with how they punish people for the same stuff. So definitely going to be interesting to watch and see how that turns out. And talking about this type of stuff makes me, I can't wait till they play football, because then we talk about football, because we're there in college this weekend, which is really exciting. We're there in a week in the NFL, and can watch some football then, so that'll be fun.
Matthew Stafford becoming the highest paid player in NFL history. The guy signs a contract earlier this week, $135 million, 5-year extension. Comes out to about $27 million a year. You can divide that by 16 games, and you can see the old boy's making well over $1 million a game. I think it breaks out into like $400,000 or $500,000 a quarter. It's just unbelievable. It's insane. But if they came and said, "You want to pay this kind of money to do this show?" I'm going, "Yeah, I'll take it. I'll do whatever. If you're dumb enough to pay it, I'm dumb enough to take it." But Matthew Stafford, 5-year contract. Wow. I mean, that eclipses Derek Carr, who signed up until this point the richest contract about 3 or 4 weeks ago. That's gone now. Yep. So Stafford are now here on the horizon. Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. Got some other guys out there that are going, wait a minute. So this thing's just going to keep going up and up and up. Your take on Matthew Stafford? Yeah,
it's just kind of the way it is now, and Kirk Cousins even, who you look at and say, oh, he's not even Matt Stafford, but he'll jump this too. I mean, it's a game of leapfrog. It's just going to keep going. And, now people who are complaining about Derek Carr making all that money a few months ago, now they have a new target, and he's going to get eclipsed, and just going to keep going and going with no end in sight, really, at least until, they start renegotiating television deals and things come back down to earth a little bit. Because I'm telling you, we were having a little discussion with Carmichael about cord cutting and all the people that cut the cords. And the problem with that is when you're not making that cable money, the cable companies aren't making that money. They can't bid that much money for pro sports. And that's where all this money's coming from, or a lot of it, the vast majority for ownership when it comes to being able to pay these really, really high salaries. So, we saw it in the NHL a while back where all of a sudden when the bottom fell out for them and they had the long holdout, all of a sudden player salaries, there was a market recorrection, and it came way down. We're seeing it in NASCAR right now to a certain extent, where drivers who are making a lot of money are being replaced by young drivers who will race for a fifth or a sixth of that money, because it makes business sense, and that's what we're going to be looking at. But until that thing gets renegotiated, every quarterback, we're going to keep talking about this all the time. Oh my gosh, he's making 28, he's making 29, and then we're going to hit the big 3-0 here pretty soon.
Yep, that's where it's headed. We're headed for the 6 o'clock show number 2 of the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview. You excited? Ready to go?
Oh, I'm fired up.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I want to start now. They won't let us, though, will they?
No, they won't.
No, we'll hold off till 6.
Hold off. The picking panel, we got all these games you and I are going to pick. Tennessee, Georgia Tech, West Virginia, Virginia Tech, Alabama, Florida State, Florida, Michigan, Texas A&M, and UCLA. Those are the 5 picking panel games that we're going to break down for you. We'll also break down the Scienceville Dobbins Minute, Hampton, Happy Valley, Elizabeth, and Sullivan East. Also the Tennessee High Daniel Boone and the Sullivan North Cosby games tonight. Folks have already put their name in the hat, so you can't pick on these because it's all said and done for this week. But a new picking panel is out, and so here's how you can go and get involved for next week. See if you can win yourself $25. And let's see, it's going to be right there, all right? TomTaylorSports.com/football. It's out there already for the second week of the picking panel. Good luck, but we're going to let you hear what we think about this week's picks, and we'll actually do a little sneak preview of next week's picks as well, because we may be able to help you, because you're going to need our expertise. I'm going to tell you right now. They need us, don't they?
Well, they do. Whether they know it or not.
They don't know it.
But whether they know it or not, whether they do or not, they need us, and they're going to get us.
We're going to convince you that you need our expertise for you to make your pick for next week. So we'll kind of analyze these, and again talk about next week's picks as well. So each week we're going to be out in front of the picks, and so we'll talk about next week's picks as well. I got some great ones next week. Clemson and Auburn. Whew, goodness. Georgia at Notre Dame at South Bend. That's going to be a good one. So Pitt and Penn State. That one could be an interesting football game, to say the least. Bragging rights of the state of Pennsylvania. So a lot of those we'll talk about tonight. So I know you got to go grab some lunch and come back. So we will be ready to roll coming up at 6 o'clock tonight.
Yes, sir. All set.
All set and ready to go. We'll take a quick break. We'll come right back. We'll check in with Kristen Martin to wrap this thing up. He works in the Internet Sales Department here at Champion Chevrolet on show number 584 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Tom Taylor Sports Show, we save the best for last. We've had all the beast, and now we got the beauty. Here she is, Kristen Martin, the Internet Sales. Hello, young lady. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
If you could see what goes on before she comes on here, it's great. It's yeah, she's just Kristen. She's OKM. We like her. So, how's Colby doing, by the way? You went to the first football game.
Yes, he's doing fantastic. He actually got to play. He started and played quite a bit. Had 2 huge tackles stopping the punt return.
Oh, well, he's on special teams.
He is.
Awesome. So, did they win?
They did.
Okay.
They beat a team out of Orlando.
The name of his school is, refresh everybody's memory. He's
University of the Cumberlands.
Okay.
In Kentucky.
In Kentucky.
Yes. Well, apparently there's the Cumberland School in Tennessee. They used to have the same name somewhere way back when, so a lot of people get them confused.
And so, when's the next game?
It is this Saturday, 7 o'clock.
We traveling?
Of course.
Where we going?
We are no. I'm traveling, but the team is not. We're traveling to Kentucky, but it's a home game.
Home game.
Yes, playing the Cumberlands, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm. So Cumberland's playing Cumberland.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. So that is interesting. So two schools named the Cumberlands are playing each other.
Yes, not too far from each other. I mean, maybe an hour and a half or so.
Yeah.
One's in Tennessee, one's in Kentucky, but they're not far.
Yeah. Now the Kentucky school is in what city in Kentucky?
It's in Williamsburg.
Williamsburg, Kentucky, which is there, Corbin and Richmond, or Eastern Kentucky and Berea.
Yes.
So
yes.
Good stuff. Again, Krista Martin with the internet sales here at Champion Chevrolet. She's been gone. He was gone last week to go watch her son play football. Totally understandable. We get that. So you're back in the saddle, and what's been going on with internet sales?
Oh my goodness, it's been nuts this month. We have done a lot internet-wise from a long distance. I mean, it's truly been a lot of people coming from everywhere this month, more so than normal.
And so, geographically, where are they coming in from?
Well, I had a guy here last night, drove 4 hours from North Carolina. Prior to that, there was another one from 2 hours away in North Carolina. Sold one to a guy in Florida, one to somebody in Texas. So, yeah, we've been busy all over, everywhere.
It has been busy, and that's what we want. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull out the stops right here, right now. We're going to get it over here where everybody can see this lady, and we're going to bring this thing back up, because every time she's on the show, we get lots and lots of feedback. So here we go. There she is. Let's pull back a little bit more. And there we go.
That's close, Tom.
That's it. That's close. But you're ready for it. So step me through the process. Again, tell me how we get this thing rolling. We go to the website, and the website is
www. I just say that just because you giggle every time I do. ChampionJC.com. You can jump on the website. There's many different options. You can chat with us. We have several different people upstairs that can catch the chat, myself included. You can text with us, email, or of course call us and stop by. So lots of different options.
All right, so when you get on the website, we want to look at models, we want to look at prices. How in-depth can we shop on the internet?
You can narrow it down to whether or not it has heated seats. I mean, everything that you can possibly think of that you want to put into the vehicle, you can narrow it down on the website. You're able to new, used, leather, cloth, whatever. You can narrow it down quite a bit down to the pricing, and we can even take your credit application and figure out your interest rate.
Is there a trend? I mean, is this time of year folks looking for a car for a kid going back to college, or a high school kid, or somebody just trying to get ready for winter and getting a truck? Is there any trends right now?
We've had a lot of people shopping for vehicles for their students leaving for school, and we've had quite a bit of that actually. So, it really varies. It really does.
Okay, so I'll get on the internet. Tell me about the pictures. I know Sarah's been out here taking pictures today on some of the new cars that are coming in, the used cars. So very extensive. You can actually take a tour. You'll know what you're getting by watching on the internet the car you're looking for a truck, right?
Yeah, we actually, I always joke I'm a part-time photographer too, because I end up taking pictures of stuff that gets here and Sarah's not been by just yet kind of thing, and so I take pictures, clean or dirty, it doesn't matter, and we send them. We even send videos. I offer to do FaceTime and whatever with people, so that, especially if you're coming from a long ways, or even if you're just across town and you're at work and you can't get here, we try to make it as easy as possible for you to be able to see it and touch it and feel it and all of those things from sitting at your desk, and kind of figure out, is this the right one for me?
There you go. We're talking to Krista Martin. You see on the screen, internet sales, Champion Chevrolet, 282-2121, ChampionJC.com. And so financially, you can even find out before you even, if you're out of town, or as you said, cross town, before we even put the key in the car and drive over here, we'll know whether we're qualified, right?
Absolutely, yes. And we do, most of our customers end up doing it that way. They just find it so much easier. So you walk in, you look at the vehicle and say, yep, that's the one, drive it around the block, make sure it fits, and they head right upstairs to finance, knock out the paperwork, we show them how to use everything, and they're out of the dealership within no time. I mean, it's a real quick, easy process by doing everything prior to them arriving. So
I want to say hello to Larry Hyatt watching the show up in St. Albans, West Virginia. How about that? We got a lot of folks in West Virginia watching the show, because that's where I'm from. So hello to Larry Hyatt in St. Albans watching the show today. As we speak, got some folks here locally, and I don't think I'm running out of time to get the list, but when you come back tonight, the 6 o'clock show, we'll tell you who some of the folks have been watching the show for today, because we'll be back in there at 6 tonight. So tell the story before I let you go about the coach in Louisiana. I thought that was really cool. That story, and also the guy that came down there from New Jersey. I mean, I don't know how many Chevrolet dealerships between here and New Jersey, but you tell the story. I don't want to steal your thunder. Start with the football coach in Louisiana.
The football coach from LSU, he emailed me this week and said that the wife was loving the vehicle, said that Sherry was really enjoying it and had figured everything out, because that's the one thing about when we ship it to somebody, we're not there to be hands-on and walk them through it. So we did some stuff by email, and she watched a few YouTube videos and kind of figured it out. But he had been online and found a Suburban that there was just a few left in the entire country, specifically as to what he was wanting, and we had the best price. So we overnighted paperwork to him, and the shipping company picked it up a couple days later, and it's in Louisiana now.
In Louisiana.
Yes.
Love it. Now tell me about the guy from Jersey came down.
The guy from Jersey, yeah. He was a character. He actually had been online and was shopping some vehicles, called us thinking that we were a different Champion dealership, thought we were one closer to him. And the more he and I got to talking, he figured out that our pricing was better anyway, and he ended up coming down here as well. He's doing it. It's a next month deal because it's a 401k, cashing out, blah blah blah. But anyway, he actually he is going to fly down here and do the paperwork and then have it shipped back. He didn't want to put the miles on it, but he says it's still cheaper to come all the way down here as opposed to buy one up there.
It's incredible.
It's amazing.
How do they do that, as Tim does in the commercial?
That's it.
So there are some used ones right here. Go ahead and jump before I let you go. Jump down through and dig around, see if there's any of these pre-owned vehicles that kind of jump out at you. They're all good, but anything jumps?
Yeah, we've actually, right now, we have the best Cadillac selection we've had in a while in the pre-owned. We've got a ton of SRXs. We've got, really great trucks. We always have a ton of trucks. I mean, that's mostly what we sell is new trucks, so we get a lot of good trade-in trucks. People who are long-time loyal customers, their trucks are bought here originally, serviced here, and then traded back here, so we always have a good selection of those. And then, of course, cars. We've got, a handful of certified Malibus and Cruises and things down there. A lot of car for the money.
Yep. And, of course, after the sale, because when I bought mine here, next month will be a year, my phone rang for about 2 weeks afterwards from a lot of different folks calling from upstairs saying, you're happy, everything's good, and you're constantly following up after the sale, right?
Yes, we do. We try not to drive people crazy because there are, some places that will do that. We're different. We try to be different, but we do want to check on people and make sure that they're happy and make sure that, there's a lot to these vehicles these days. We want to make sure that you're being able to use, the Bluetooth and all of those things because, you've paid for it and you want to use it. So
Absolutely.
It's overwhelming when you first leave here to try to process all of the buttons and how to use everything. So, you can always come back for round 2 or call us or whatever you need to do to make sure you know how to use it.
Tim, do you think I should get... Hey, Tim, should I get Kristen on the picking panel? Probably should, shouldn't I? Yeah, here we go. All right. She's a sports lady, so here we go. Just tell me who you think's going to win. Tennessee, Georgia Tech.
I have to go with Tennessee.
All right.
I'm an orange and white girl.
There you go. KM is what you're going to be. West Virginia, Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech.
Taking Virginia Tech. All
We've
right.
got gnats in here today flying around.
Those are love bugs. Alabama, Florida State.
Alabama.
Why did you say that with gritted teeth?
I did, didn't I?
Yes.
I am not an Alabama fan.
There you go. Alabama, you taking the Crimson Tide. Florida and Michigan.
I'll go Florida.
Going Florida. Tim? No, she took she took the Gators. All right.
Not a Florida girl either.
No. Oh, Texas A&M and UCLA.
I'm going to say Texas A&M.
Texas A&M. All right. High school football. We're just doing this for kicks. Again, you can see on the screen, this is Kristen, the internet sales here champion. Science Hill DB.
Science Hill. Go Toppers.
There you go. That's tomorrow night in Kingsport. Hampton at Happy Valley up on the hill.
That'll be a good game. That's always a pretty head-to-head match. But I'm going to, I think I'm going to go with Happy Valley this year. They've got a pretty solid team.
Going with the Warriors, all right?
That's where I went to school, so we'll say go Warriors, yeah.
You're a Warrior girl. I forgot about that.
Yes.
Elizabethton and Sullivan East.
Elizabethton. They're pretty strong this year, too.
All right, Elizabethton. You're following Mr. Copenhagen right down the line here. Tennessee High at Daniel Boone.
I'm going to go Boone.
All right.
I've not really heard much about Tennessee High this year, but I'm going to go with Boone on that one.
And the last one, Sullivan North playing at Cosby.
Oh. Well, let's go local, I guess. So we'll go Sullivan North.
Local,
You like that, huh?
A local, All right, last thing before I let you go, look in that camera and tell folks why they need to get on the internet and shop at the #1 Chevy dealer in the state between Memphis and Mountain City, Champion Chevrolet.
Well, it's one of those things. You can spend a lot of time running around trying to price shop, or you can just give us a call. We'll make it as easy and transparent as possible. You can come see us, sign and drive, and be on your way in your new vehicle.
There you go.
So.
Taters.
Taters.
She is a sweetheart. There we go. Kristen Martin, Internet Sales Champion Chevrolet. We'll come back and close out our show right after you hear this about tonight's show here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. I'm Tom Taylor, and you are
Dave Angie.
And we got coming up, it's a really cool, every Thursday, it's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Get you ready for high school and college football every week. Every Thursday, you're going to be covering what for us?
Be looking at the Big East Conference.
Ooh, that would be Dobbinsman, Science Hill, and all those great football teams in that conference. Doug Fritz will be giving you the rest of the high school football picture every week. Then we got colleges covered. Who are we going to be covering?
We got ETSU. We have Tennessee. We have Virginia Tech.
All those. Carmichael's will be along to give us the big 5 games every week because it is a 5-star football preview show. So hope you'll join us every Thursday right here in the showroom of Champion Chevrolet. Dave and I will be co-hosting the Champion Chevrolet 5-star football preview. And then on top of all that, we're going to have a picking panel where you're going to match us against you and you against us, and I can't wait because they don't have a chance. You're going to go up against us. We're going to pick against you for some really cool prizes, and they don't have a chance, do they?
No chance at all. It's going to be fun times.
Oh, yeah. Putting toe to what?
Toe to the leather, man.
Toe to the leather,
Ready
man.
to go.
Ready to go. Can't wait. Again, join us every Thursday right here. It's a Maiden Voyage Cool Show, co-hosted by Dave Angie and myself. It's the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview coming up every Thursday right here from Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Motor Mile in Johnson City. Can't wait to see you on the show. Back at the Tom Taylor Sports Show again, getting ready to wrap this thing up again. Reminding you, we're back in here at 6 o'clock. Won't be that far away. And again, it will be show number 2 or installment number 2 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show now. And tonight will be the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. We will go through again one more time. Joe Vento will give you the preview of the East Tennessee State Buccaneer game against Limestone College. Kevin Harmon will give you the preview of the Tennessee Georgia Tech game. Chris McCall is going to give us a preview of the Virginia Tech West Virginia football game. We've got Dave Angie, who was just here a few minutes ago, co-hosting the show. He will give you the breakdown of the Big East Conference, all the Big East Conference games. It's a conference week, obviously, so not just the Science Hill DB, but all the games coming up in the Big East Conference. Doug Fritz will give you the update on the other high school football games coming up again tomorrow night around the region. So let's see, I got them all. Carmichael, again, will give us the top 5 college football games of the season, or not of the season, but of the week, and of course the ones we just went down and talked about. Tennessee, Georgia Tech, West Virginia, Virginia Tech, Alabama, Florida State, Florida, Michigan, and Texas A&M and UCLA will be the ones we'll kind of zero in on. I'll get his take on my boys, the Thundering Herd of Marshall, taking on We Are Marshall. Love being a graduate of the Thundering Herd in Huntington, West Virginia. They'll be hosting Miami of Ohio, and so we'll talk about that a little bit too, get his take on that ball game, which will be on Saturday at Joan Edwards Stadium in Huntington. And so we'll talk about that one as well. So all that coming up. High school and college football preview show. Can't wait. 6 o'clock tonight. Also, the second week of the Pickin' Panel will be out there for you all to take a look at. And we'll break down this week's Pickin' Panel. And, of course, Kristen will come back, too. Kristen's going to have a special segment about some of the local kids now that have graduated from high school and where they're playing now in college football, which is really cool. The mamas and daddies will love that. So we will talk about that as well. So come back and join us. We want to say thanks to our guest today, Jim Klein from Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, Carmichael, Dave Angie, of course, the News and Neighbor, Andy Dietrich, the co-owner of Champion Chevrolet, and, of course, Kristen Martin, again, Internet Sales here at Champion Chevrolet. We are out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. And so until we re-greet you about 4.5 hours from now, about 6 o'clock, we'll crank it back up. Until then, we always tell you, win or lose, be a good sport. Talk to you at 6 o'clock right back here for the Champion Chevrolet 5-Star Football Preview Show. Until then, so long, everybody.